Hi, this is Christy Marks, creator of Jem and the Holograms, and you're listening to a truly outrageous podcast with Mike, Amy, and Nicole. It's showtime, Synergy.
Me and my friends are Jam girls. Jam, Jam is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jam girl, you never the same. Come on, and be a Jam girl. Jam, Jam is my name. Me and my friends are Jam girls. Jam, Jam is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Jam girl. Glamour, fashion, and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jam girl, you never the same. Come on, and be a Jam girl. Jam, Jam is my name.
Showtime, Synergy.
My father's the only one who can control them. So, when's he coming home? Monday? But today's Friday!
No, Roxy, it's not Friday, it's actually Sunday. Hello and welcome to Showtime Synergy, the Gem Review podcast here on the Geekcast Radio Network. I am Em. Joining me are my hologram girls, Amy, aka Lady Rack, hello.
Hey! Hey.
And Nicole Hailstorm.
Hello. Can I stop being a hologram? I want to be a
No.
misfit.
No.
They have more fun.
I want to be a limp lizard.
In this episode, we'll be giving our thoughts on the final 4 episodes of Gem and the Holograms Season 1, as well as recapping Season 1 with our favorites, least favorites, characters, moments, episodes,
You
and
make
a
it
whole
sound
bunch
like
of other
it's going to
stuff.
be a big thing. It's probably going to be like 5 minutes.
Well,
We'll make it big.
So-
We'll make it big because we'll be laughing so hard by the end of the episodes.
that's usually what happens in this podcast.
There you go.
Hey, I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm not.
Neither did I.
Hype. So unless something happens, I do have my soda here, so maybe the sugar will.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask you was what's your drug of choice this time?
I got Matzalan Soul, which is an apple soda. It's pretty tasty.
Awesome.
That's my drug of choice today.
Sugar or more sugar?
So we'll
That
be
and
back.
happiness.
We'll be back with the first episode after this Red Apple Ale commercial.
Yeah, get it in while you can, because she's going to keep talking.
I know, right?
I can see me standing on the stage. I can see me being all the rage. I can see me going very far. I can see me a star. I can see me itching to perform. I can see me singing up the storm. I can see me a star. I can see me aiming for the heights. I can see me with my name in lights. I can see me where the good times are. I can see me a star. I can see me itching to perform. I can see me singing up the storm. I can see me a star. I can see me itching to perform. I can see me singing up the storm. I can see me a star.
All right, the Jem Jam Part 1, air date February 8th, 1987. It aired one day before my 7th birthday. Holy crap. I'm old.
Aww.
Holy
Happy
crap, I am
belated birthday by 30 years or so.
old. Oh,
Little Mike
Lord.
was just so excited to watch this episode.
Yeah, right. The Misfits plot to ruin the Jem Jam, a benefit concert Jem is planning by tricking Luna Dark, a Madonna-esque singer, into coming with them, while Chrissy must deal with Lena Lerner, a Tina Turner knockoff, spoiled brat's son Dominic, who resembles a young Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Except
he's
with bad
definitely-
manners.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, young Michael Jackson wasn't like that.
Have to resist before Michael Jackson switched certain thing joke.
Are you talking about switching his color?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in there. Yeah, before he decides to bleach himself. From the outside in, basically.
And also going on in this episode, we have Bonnie. She is sure that Randy James, a drummer for the other crap. Who the hell's the other?
It's for Johnny Deacon.
Johnny Deacon, yeah. She is sure that he is her father.
Because he has red hair.
Yep. The episode also features Rowan Owens, who resembles Stevie Wonder, like not even. I mean, like it's dead on. Like, this is everything. Ron Cox resembles Mick Jagger, and she even introduces him and says something about his lips, so it's obvious that it's Jagger.
The lips and hips himself.
Yeah.
Kissing her lips and hips himself, and then he gets on the mic and goes, "Wow!" It's just like, yeah, it's so totally him.
And Johnny Deacon resembling Bruce Springsteen. The featured songs in this episode are I Can See Me by Ashley and A Father Should Be by Bonnie. First of all, none of the Starlight Girls should have their own music videos. I'm sorry.
See, I totally disagree with you. I thought it was great. I thought it was because it was something different. It was a chance to
exactly.
I enjoyed it. I really did.
Agree.
That was one of my hologram moments. I really liked it.
I can be all right with Ashley's, but Bonnie's song, oh my god,
she didn't have a group.
No,
she was
true.
just it was all about. Yeah. I want my dad to be this.
Yes. And the PSA was all about asking for help when you are lost. Overall, I like this. It's an interesting beginning. At first, because I hadn't read this description, because I get all these descriptions from Wikipedia.org, I hadn't read this before I watched the episode, so I wasn't sure at the time who the hell Luna was supposed to be. I really wasn't. The rest of them I pretty much figured out. I like this. I think it's interesting. I think after having what was it? The one with Bobby in it, when they covered his song. Oh God, what's the name? We just did this.
I know. Wait, I got my notes here.
Stupid subtitle.
Okay, wait. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. Wait. No, not Islanders. Old Meets New.
Old Meets New, that's right. Old Meets New. So I like that they're continuing on with working with other musicians. I think that's really cool about this plot. And, I mean, Jem has been out for a couple of years now at this point, and it only makes sense that she have her own, pop version of Ozfest. Or, Amy, what did you think of the plot of part 1 so far?
I liked it. Just kind of going with the Lena Lerner and Dominic and all these people that are like the knockoffs of certain people. I liked the idea of that. I thought that it was kind of great. I mean, I know we find out later, I think maybe it's in season 2 where they have like actors, their actor version. And I was like, I know it's not them, and I'm sure that they probably did that because of licensing and all that. Hey, we're going to use Tina Turner in here. I'm like, no, actually we can't because we don't have a budget that's big enough for that. I don't completely understand, but I really think it's kind of cool. And I like to kind of believe that in some, weird another universe that Lena Lerner actually does exist. And she is a really great singer. I mean, not a Shattered Glass version, but
just like Tina too.
Yeah. Exactly. Just a multiverse of possibilities. And another multiverse, Lena really exists. The plot was, I liked it. I liked the idea that, they have their own, concert or something like that, and they call it the Jem Jam. It wasn't one of my favorite, I wasn't really thrilled about the song Jam All Night Long. Really didn't hit it off with me. But it was still the idea of getting a bunch of artists together. I mean, this isn't the first time they've done that. They've done a few other things where they had supposedly in their little universe of music, they had people that are like you said, we've already mentioned it, where Old Meets New, where we have a group of artists that are people that are that they what is it, team up with and make music with. So I like the idea of that. I like what they do. So, but
What about you, Nicole?
Yeah.
Oh, what else are you gonna say, Amy?
that's pretty much it. Yeah, I liked it.
What about you, Nicole?
I really enjoyed the first half of this. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, going back to my day when I'm like, oh, I know that's supposed to be Tina Turner, that's supposed to be Mick Jagger. I really had a fun time with it. And of course, that was like kind of a big thing to do back in the day, was to get a bunch of groups together and do like a fundraiser.
We are the world.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, of course. Then they had that Band-Aid, and then what was it? The one for Africa.
That's We Are the World.
That is the We Are the World. Okay, I know they had
Yeah.
they had a bunch of different ones. What I remember going. So it brought back memories. So I thought that was really good. I like how they got the Starlight Girls involved. Like I said, I enjoyed their music videos just because it was something different. And we got to hear some different vocal singers. You know,
Mhm. Ashley's not a bad singer.
she's not bad. No, I really had fun. I liked it when all the girls were together and looked like they were having
I think
fun.
this is like the first episode where they actually had just the songs from the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
Ashley
isn't,
didn't
as you
so.
as you mentioned, Nicole, it wasn't bad. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't bad to see them, and you know, it makes sense that at least one of their own would be so inspired. You know, one of the Starlight Girls would be like, "Hey, I want to do this with what I want to do someday. I want to be just like the people that are taking care of me." And who better
Yeah,
than to
exactly.
pick Ashley, the ones that has actually had some drama with some, you know, misfits and the holograms and Jam and all that.
Yep.
Is it Ashley and the Starlights?
Oh Lord.
Hey, they're
Oh.
practicing in the next episode. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of intention there.
Yeah, there is. There is. All right, we're gonna get to the hologram moments for part 1 after this.
We can start anytime you're ready.
Thanks, Rio.
That's got to be Lindsay.
When's Jem gonna make her big surprise announcement?
Just a few more minutes.
May I have your invitation, please? Thank you.
There are all kinds of reporters and music people coming to Jem's mystery party. Oh, I wish I knew what Jem is up to.
We'll find out soon enough. What have you got, Tech Rat?
You wanted gimmicks? You got 'em.
Flash, have you done your disguise?
I'm ready.
Good. They'll think you're one of the reporters.
Whatever you record with this special camera, we'll see and hear on this screen.
All right, remember.
But how do I get in?
Well,
Yeah, this is by invitation only.
Flash will think of a way.
Me? Thanks for nothing. Hey, your father's looking for you in the lobby.
My father? Did he have red hair?
Sure, that's the guy. He said to come right away.
Father! Bonnie! Why'd you run away? That lady said my father was here. But you don't have a father. I do too. He's an American with red hair. My mother told me so. But that's all you know. That lady was playing a mean trick. I will find my father someday. I will.
Would you like some punch? Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Hey, you! Give me a glass of punch.
You're welcome.
Bring me another one.
When you learn how to walk, get it yourself. All the guests are here.
Then let's get started. Showtime, Synergy.
Jem's here.
Thank you all for coming. Jem and the Holograms, in association with Starlight Music, are proud to announce the most exciting musical event of the year, the Jem Jam. The most legendary stars of rock and roll have agreed to join us. We have the Grand Master of Rhythm and Blues, Roland Owens. Mr. Lips and Hips himself, Ron Cox. Yo! The First Lady of Soul, Lena Lerner.
And my son, Dominic.
Her son? Oh, no.
We have one star who couldn't be with us tonight, the spectacular Lunar Dark.
How did she get them all? Never mind that. What are we gonna do about it?
It is time for hologram moments for the Jem Jam Part 1. Outfits with frickin' laser beams on them.
How cool is that? My God.
They look Tron inspired.
I know.
Tron come to life, and I'm like, you what? Say what you want about the Misfits. Their outfits are amazing. Okay.
They do have good outfits. At least in this episode, there's at least 2 points where I point out their outfits. Go, I like them. Just saying.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. Just saying.
If they were wearing these all the time, I would not have a problem with their fashion choices, but the fact that they go back to their old, tired out threads later.
Yeah.
No.
You can't blame them for that. You blame Hasbro for that. Hasbro isn't paying him enough.
Apparently not.
Come on, we all have our favorite threads. We all have like a favorite T-shirt or shoes that we always wear. Why can't rock stars be the same?
It's a sad thing. Last year, after I bought one of my Transformers Prime Life Music shirts from rippedapparel.com, about 6 months after I bought it, there's a rip on one of the underarms, and I'm like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me!"
I got something. I got something that tops that. The day I was in my car accident, I was wearing my absolute favorite T-shirt of all time. They had to cut it off me. Totally destroyed. It's just
don't you just hate that?
And I can't find it anywhere else. And it's just like, it was my absolute favorite T-shirt.
If you've ever been in an accident and had that happen, it's like every single time you go in the car, you think about that. Go, oh, do I want this cut off me?
Yeah, especially my brand new bra too.
Oh,
put that in there too.
Amy, what did you like about this first part of the episode?
I thought you were about to ask me, what did I get?
No.
It's true, though.
Amy, when was the last time you had your bra cut off?
Well,
that's how she got pregnant. See?
It's all the snake's fault.
The lip lizards? Not joking. Wait.
Out in one hole and in the other.
The not so limp lizards.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so hologram moments.
Sorry, Mike. I'm perverting our podcast.
This podcast is only for adults. Just saying.
Thank God we have an explicit rating on this thing.
Oh gosh! Wow.
I think the sugars kicked in.
I think so too.
My dogs are giving me strange looks.
That's what your pets are supposed to do. What are you doing? You're a crazy human. Just like we look at them and say, "What are you doing? You're a crazy pet." Oh. Okay, so my hologram moments. I have quite a few of them. Tech Rat and his video recorder that broadcasts to where the Misfits are spying is brilliant.
Yes,
Is it possibly even ahead of its time?
My gosh, I love Tech Rat more and more each time he's on.
I know, he's one of those eccentric characters that you just want to see because he always gets upset and he's so particular, but he always makes
touch my stuff.
Don't touch me! Don't touch my stuff! And it always gets him into trouble usually. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of those a taste that you just love about this whole thing. So,
Eric must be
um,
paying him really well to stick around.
apparently he's making a whole lot of gadgets. He's got a whole room full of electronics. It looks like. We find that out next episode, of course.
hmm
Okay. I also put in there, of course, Ashley and the Starlights because I thought it was cute.
hmm
I thought that was kind of great. So, um, yes, Pizzazz, you should always trust Eric. Just question his plans. It's like that whole thing. I think this is, I think it's a good idea, but I think we need to question your methods.
hmm
Um, Also like the Lasertron outfits; those were pretty awesome. Love the Lena Learner and the foot slam, followed by the other girls following suit. That was pretty funny, made me laugh. I love how everyone attending the Gem Jam can see right through the Misfits parade. They're like, "Are the Misfits really this much trouble all the time?" And then everybody turns to each other and says, "Always." That was funny. And finally Tech Rat has a gadget that doesn't get messed up or not work at the last minute. It just like it works beautifully. But the only problem with it is the fact that they use it in the airport on one of the departure arrival monitors. But aren't there a couple of those that you can check everywhere? I don't know if it would do the same thing to all of the monitors.
Right, but I think what happened was when he changed it, it was for the front of the airport when Jem and
Yeah.
Lynn would first come in. So they just looked at that front one. I think they just looked at that front one, pulled a run Rudolph and ran to the gate. So
That's why you shouldn't be late, ladies. Then you wouldn't be like, doing that. But
yep.
yeah, I also like the Misfit van that Jem is driving in disguise. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's like, have we seen that before? I don't think we have.
We
know,
have
I like
no Pizzazz and them drive around in it. It was just Synergy doing a hologram version of it.
Gotcha. And lastly, I did like the subplot of Dominic and Chrissy. He really is that insufferable, but it was just a good subplot.
Yes. What about you, Nicole? Hologram moments for part 1.
I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I like to think that they did. It seems like all the Starlight girls look older, as they should. It's been a while. It's been, to me, they looked older. I don't know why. I don't know if it's pink jackets.
It was the jackets, I think. It was how they had them dressed.
Yeah, but they looked older, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice because you never really see age progression in animation. So I was thinking, oh, they look a little older. I like to think that was on purpose. So, I like the doppelgangers.
There's sometimes even in Bonnie's like her little video, A Father Should Be, that she looks so much older. But you also, this is speaking ahead, of course, because you do get a chance to see her mom at some point, and her mom looks like a grown-up version of her.
Yeah, I like the doppelgangers of the 80s rock stars. I really thought that was cool. One of my favorite lines, again, was Pizzazz. when Eric's saying, where she basically says she doesn't trust Raymond. I'm like, it's pretty bad when Pizzazz doesn't even trust Raymond. Let's see, the music videos by the Starlight Girls, got that. You pretty much said most of it, Amy. And the outfits.
Yes.
Fucking lasers. I want one of those. Holy crap, that'd be awesome. Yeah. And Tech Rat. Just love that guy. What about you, Mike?
Tech Rat is awesome. I really part 1 was not exactly my cup of tea. Outside of the fact we've already talked about, the 80s stars that they copycatted in the outfits. And the Misfits' new outfits. Other than that, this first part there's so much crap in here. I'm sorry, Christy Marks. And most of my Misfit moments are nitpicks, I will admit that, but I don't know. It was just a little too weird for me.
See, I like the first part better than the second part.
Because I'm thinking, oh no, that's when is the Yeah, that's what I did like about I'll say outside of the outfits, that is what I did like about this was the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
With the dogs. I thought that was hilarious.
I do.
So,
I like dogs, so that worked out well for me.
all right, let's get to the misfit moments after this.
A father should be a good man. A father should be wise. A father should be tall and strong, with laughter in his eyes. A father should be behind you. A father should be there. A father should be someone who always treats you fair. I know the kind of man a father ought to be. A shining knight who fights the good fight and wins it just for me. A father should be a hero. A father should come through. A father should be someone just like you. Just like
All right, misfit moments. I'll get mine out of the way right now. I know that Clash does not know Bonnie's situation, but that was just beyond cruel.
It was, I agree. It was completely mean.
It was beyond cruel because what then happens is it sets Bonnie's story up for the rest of the two-parter
Yeah.
in her obsessing over the drummer. And it's like, oh,
When
my
does it
God.
ever stop? She's always obsessing over a redhead person. Anytime any guy comes into any of the episodes that's a redhead guy, it's like, oh, watch out for Bonnie. She's going to think it's her dad.
I completely forgot it was this early in the series that they continued her searching for a father storyline. I mean, the whole storyline of searching for her dad. I completely forgot it was this early in the series. Like, I thought it wasn't until like the middle of season 2. I mean, I get why it's here, but honestly, it's not my favorite part of the series.
Yeah.
Her whole storyline. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. I grew up divorced parents, and I spend 2 days a week with my dad, and there was a time where he had gotten remarried and moved to where I live now, and at the time, 1990 to 93, it's 3 years I didn't see him because we were in different states. So don't get me wrong, I understand about not having a father around and all that stuff, but this just, I don't know. I don't know if it's the story that I'm upset with, or it's more of how the character of Bonnie is handling it. Like the way that she is acting.
I think it's more the fact that, like I said, anybody that ever walks into the storyline that has red hair, it's like instantly you got to worry about whether or not Bonnie is going to obsess about that. And I don't think it's because I think it's a very real thing for every child, especially adopted children. All of these kids, and especially the fact she's never met her father. And her, she's holding on to that. That's not unusual, and it's not that I don't have empathy for kids that are like that either. But I'm just saying, it's just how they handle it. It's like that's the go-to thing for Bonnie. It's the one thing that defines her as a character. Although there are other things that should define her as a character. I mean, the fact that Jem and Jerrica. I mean, geez, earlier in this season, she was getting an emergency, surgery so she wouldn't go blind. Yeah, and that was really good. You think that she'd have kind of a conflict of interest or a conflict of, I'd like to get a new daddy, but I love the fact that my foster family basically is doing all of these things for me, and they really do care about me because they made it so I don't go blind. You'd think that those two themes would be like the biggest thing, but it's like now we don't even hear anything about the whole blind thing. She never mentions anything about that. It's just kind of like, oh, it happened and we worked with it, and then it dropped it like a rock. And I'm like, I don't know if a child would be that, especially since she was going blind. She technically couldn't see, and that's a whole big thing for a kid that's losing their sight. So I don't know. I think it's more about the fact that it's the go-to thing now. We don't ever hear about anything that's happened before, and so.
I mean, really, honestly, and seriously, I could probably be most sympathetic with Bonnie's storyline out of any of the Starlight Girls because I was born with optic atrophy and astigmatism.
Oh,
so
geez, yeah.
when I was growing up, I mean, I had bifocals, I had trifocals sometimes. So I understand the whole, because when I was a kid, I was classified legally blind.
Oh, geez.
Even, I mean, I have, like, as an adult, I have 2200 vision without correction. With correction, I think I can get up to 2050. But, I mean, and I can sympathize with it. I just think my problem with the whole father storyline is the way the voice actress and the way the character is handling the story. The way, and I understand that they have to go by what is written on the page, but I don't know. Last thing here, you'd think that Jem would keep the disguise on until she actually got in the house.
Yeah.
But no. And then all I can think of is the cliffhanger is the dogs coming after. All I can think of is
she
always I can think
always does that. She always does. It's just like, come on, Jem, you're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Jerica.
Yeah, when the dogs are coming after her and it ends on that cliffhanger, all I can think of is Ice Cube's father from Friday. A damn dog bit me, son. Just jumped right up, bit my ass, and just
bit me on the ass.
Yep, that's all I can think
I love that movie. My gosh. I was talking to someone about it, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you need to go watch Friday. You really need. I've been smelling your shit for 20 years. You can smell mine for 20 minutes.
Nicole, what are your misfit moments for part 1?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Me. Oh, okay. First of all, when Johnny Deacon comes on the stage, he's supposed to be the king of rock and roll. He's not making any sound. I'm like, are you pulling a Milli Vanilli here? Ashley Simpson? Because you're playing, but there's no sound coming out. I did not. Yeah, I'm like, that's really weird. I'm really starting to believe that Rio really honestly does not know what fun is. Okay, because they invite him to come play volleyball, and he's like, no. It's just like, Rio, get that stick out of your butt, man.
And you wonder why Jem is always hanging out with other dudes. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's so bitter about everything. It's just like, dang. The balloons. Okay, these are either the most powerful balloons ever or the weakest helicopter ever. Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. Do balloons really affect helicopters like that?
I mean, the force of the helicopter would like push the balloons away, most likely.
Wouldn't they just pop if they hit the rotor?
I don't get it. I thought.
Well, they weren't actually hitting the blades. They were hitting
the intake thing.
Yeah, they were hitting the intake thing. So they were on the sides, like they never actually showed up above. Like they weren't out in the middle of where the blades were turning. They were on the side of the helicopter, like fitting into like where the engines would be and stuff. So that I can kind of see, but
I just thought it was stupid. I'm like, first of all, I agree with Misfits. Raymond's really losing it. Balloons, really. I mean, they're going up in the air. No one's really going to see them, and they're just average sized balloons. And when they fall down, most people don't care. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, how many times you see a balloon release? How many times do you pick up the balloons after they've been released?
Exactly.
Don't.
Exactly. Unless you don't want your child or your pet to eat it.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that Luna does not know who the Misfits are. Everyone knows the Misfits by this point. Everyone knows Pizzazz and her green hair. She doesn't know who they are.
You'd think that the tabloids would be all over these ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, who should have been in jail? Who was in jail this last week because they did such and such?
and then from
how much money they're throwing into the the judicial system and, the
Yeah,
best lawyers to
exactly.
get. Pizzazz says,
mean-
this is the best lawyer ever.
I mean, yeah. Can you? They're constantly in the headlines, so I really had a hard time believing that she thinks her chauffeurs. Yeah, no. And video suffers from the same moronic eyesight to brain capacity as Rio does. Oh look, you look a lot like my cousin, but you're not my cousin because you're a disguise.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the
face
hair.
palm.
Yeah.
Oh, I
She
do
always
that
has
hair.
pink hair.
Yeah.
She has a pink wig to hide the blue and the
That
pink.
is a magical pink. So Rio and Video can't see pink. Yeah, that was. Like,
She's had better disguises. She really has. When she's gone.
Oh, I
as a
know. Well,
blonde.
she actually looked good in a little turban. I thought. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. So, yeah, those are my misfit moments where I just face palm like, ugh.
Amy?
I also thought that Clash telling Bonnie was incredibly evil in me. I liked the Thug fans, but they crashing the party was did not work for the Misfits, because they had, like I said, they end up going back to say, are they really this much trouble? Always. Everybody understood that. So it's like, oh man, they've done this so many times that, Thug fans, yeah, they're like, oh, we know where these people came from. Yeah, Rio having to wait while Jem takes a helicopter ride with Johnny Deacon. So disappointed, Rio. He's like, oh, I wanted to talk to him. I had something more important to do than have fun. But then she runs straight back to him afterwards. Oh, Rio, I was so worried. I was like, dang, man. The whiplash.
She does play him a lot, doesn't she?
Plays him like a fiddle.
Holy Hannah.
No wonder he's so messed up. I mean, he was already pretty messed up already as it is, but geez, the minute she gets back, she's like running into his arms. I'm like, okay, all right, dude. 2 episodes from now, when you talk about people being two-faced and lying.
Exactly, we'll get to that here in a second.
Oh my gosh. Really, Rio? Wow. You've got your standards pretty high. You don't even meet them. Okay, Luna Dark getting nabbed. This could only end in tears for the Misfits, because, hey, if you get nabbed by her in the end, okay, she's that popular, you nab her, even if you believe the fact that she doesn't know who these people are, wouldn't she get mad at these guys for doing that and thus making your reputation that less important?
And honestly, since you mentioned that now, and now that I know who Luna is supposed to be modeling after, you would think that she would be a little bit more pissed off.
Oh,
because, I mean, Madonna in the 80s, if you crossed her...
if you crossed her, she would destroy you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Yeah. I think this was one of those plans that just was not very well thought out. So, yeah.
And see, the bad thing is, these 2 episodes are written by Christy Marks, I believe. And I mean, as the creator of the series, I don't know.
I do have to say, I did like the Jem Jam better than some of the other ones. So I'm like, it's all right. It's good.
Yeah.
It had some good moments in it. The moments that are just like awesome, like the laser Tron outfits are awesome.
They are awesome.
More tech rat, please.
Yes, more tech rat, please. All right, we're gonna move on to the next episode, or we're actually gonna move on to part 2 of the Jem Jam after this. The Jem Jam Part 2, the air date was February 15th, 1987, one day after Valentine's Day. Wow. Jem saves Luna Dark from Pizzazz's guard dogs, and the Misfits plot to ruin the Jem Jam with help from Tech Rat. Meanwhile, Bonnie goes to great lengths to prove that Randy is her father. Also, Chrissy finds out that there's more to Dominic than she thought. The featured songs are You May Be a Star by Chrissy, Give Me a Gimmick by the Misfits, and Jam All Night Long by Jem and the Holograms. Now, the name of this song is Jam All Night Long. You'd think that they'd have a Lionel Richie copycat on here. All night long.
All night.
Outside of the Bonnie stuff, which just
It kind of
outside
takes
of
over
that-
this episode. Just
yeah,
saying.
outside of that, I really enjoyed this one. I thought this was because this is actually where, because it ends on the cliffhanger with the dogs. The beginning of this episode is actually where the Monday Friday thing comes in, and I laughed so hard at the when will he be back? Monday, but it's only Friday.
That didn't stop them, though. They still found a way to get out.
So, Amy, what did you think of the second half of the plot here?
I liked it. I like the fact that we get more. It's a continuation of the first one, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we get more of the kids doing their thing. I wasn't really much of a fan of the whole Bonnie thing either. I mean, it's just I don't know that many kids, if they found out, oh, he's not my dad, that they'd run off and try to put themselves in bodily harm like that. Was not the smartest thing. And again, like I've mentioned,
She needs therapy after that move.
I think she just needs therapy because
I'm gonna go feed myself to the bears.
Exactly.
Trust me, girlfriend. If you're gonna go out, I know some easier ways. Okay.
Less expensive ways, less gory ways of doing something. And geez, like Jerica, she's like, oh, she puts her hands in front of her face. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like the typical mom, and she saves her. I'm like, look, you can't not acknowledge the fact that Jerica has done a whole heck of a lot for you, child. You are at least old enough to understand that. Mm-hmm. There's never any thanks. There's never any endearment between her and Jerica. It's just, they get upset when they get ignored by her and Jem. I was like, oh, geez, man. It's like, she's giving you this big mansion to live in.
I know. She's taking pretty good care of you, girlfriend.
Yeah.
What about you, Nicole? The plot?
I really like this, and I just because of the gimmicks and misfit moments, I really the whole Bonnie thing. Yeah, it kind of grated on my nerves, and we'll get to that during my misfit moments too. But I thought it was really fun. I really did.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good moments. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just wanted someone to get bit, either by the dogs or by the bears or something. Maybe someone could bite Rio and he could turn into a zombie, cut his head off, boom, we're done.
On that note, let us get to the hologram moments before Nicole goes on an even longer Rio hating tangent. We'll be back after this.
Give me a gimmick to make them all
It is time for hologram moments for the Gem Jam Part 2. And ladies and gentlemen, if you only knew half the crap we talk about off air, oh my god.
I just made Rio likable on our off air. You guys are never going to hear that, though.
They might hear it in an outtake episode. Who knows?
One of these days, he's gonna just record it all and just tell all.
One of these days. Like I already said, the Monday but today's Friday thing is the best thing Roxy has ever done.
Besides Miss Pink Hair and the sing-alongs.
Well, shaking some sense into Pizzazz. I mean, she actually physically grabs her and shakes her.
I love that. Pizzazz sounded like such a little kid. I loved it.
Is this better than Pizzazz saying, "I don't have a conscience"?
Yeah, but it's not better than when she. Oh, what was the one you like, Nicole?
She Little Miss Pink Hair, the sing-alongs.
I did mention that. Yeah.
It's not better than that, but yeah. They're just for a 22-minute cartoon, I cannot believe how many lessons that they crammed into this. Between Bonnie's storyline and, the father, not father, thing, and then Chrissy with Dominic. I mean, there's so much going on here. I do like how the 4 foster girls are similar to Jem and the Holograms. I mean, if you look at them, I mean, I don't know which one out of the 4 of them would be Jem, but I mean, holy crap, you gotta love Tech Rat. Tech Rat is awesome.
She's awesome.
That's me.
Eric and Tech Rat are so gonna get it if the Misfits catch them. Yeah, when the alien thing crashed into the tree, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that is the best invention ever. I want a flying UFO stage with my own Tron laser suit.
It's like the
2015. It should have happened.
It's like the things that the 80s should have promised us. They said we'd have, hoverboards and automatic zip-up shoes and cars that fly, and we would also have a stage, a UFO stage. The build-up to that was, amazing, too, because it was like, how everybody reacts to it. We don't even get to see it until we get to actually see it flying, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's what that was?
I do love the collaboration with the Gem Jam, with all the singers and Gem and the Holograms. As we already mentioned, it did remind me of the USA for Africa, We Are the World in 1985. The PSA in this one was, stealing is wrong.
Yeah.
Unless you really want it. But I want it more, sir. That's a Guardians reference.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh! Are you cereal?
Oh.
Yes, I am cereal. I'm Frosted Flakes. Anyway,
You're not Fruit Loops?
He is free if he hasn't already yet.
You're not Tony the Tiger?
No. Oh Lord. Amy, great moments for part 2.
Okay. I love what Christy says to Dominic, because he needs to be put in his place badly.
Yep.
Lena Lerner, mom, when she says, "Don't give me any lip," and I was like, you tell him, mom. Oh, I love that. I love how Tech Rat's gadget goes haywire simply because Pizzazz touches it. It's like she picks up that one and then it starts electrifying or whatever, and it starts flipping out. And Tech Rat's like, "Give me that!" And he gives it. And then it all of a sudden works fine. It's like, oh my gosh, it's
I think that Pizzazz and I have the same. We just have bad luck when we touch things. It just happens.
I love the fact that he continues to be all possessive of the big gimmick at the very end. No, these controls are mine. Yeah. And I also like the deal that Chrissy and Dominic strike. So that kind of resolves their little issues and everything gets better. And then, of course, the return of the Lasertron outfits. Yay!
Thanks. Yeah. What about you, Nicole?
Okay, I had fun with this episode. Okay. First of all, I appreciate that they didn't totally dumb down the dogs. When Jem turned into Pizzazz, the dogs are like, "You're still not her," okay? Or either they
we're
really
dogs
hate
and we know better.
Yeah. Or they're just like, "Oh, there's the green hair bitch, get her."
The
No,
smell-o-vision part didn't work, right?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, that's cool. They didn't totally, but the whole bigger dog thing, I'm like, I don't know, would that work? I don't know if that would totally work. So there's half and half there.
It was a big hologram. It kind of looked threatening, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Give Me a Gimmick, the video actually had some really good animation in it.
I
Probably
agree.
some of the best we've seen in the whole series. And I really liked the video. It was very fun house-ish. Yeah.
Didn't
And
they
I'm
do like the face where they put the electronic face together? Isn't that like an 80s thing too?
Was it? Yep. And then, of course, and in the video, they have the Misfits hand puppets. Those were awesome.
I want one.
I want some hand puppets too. That'd be awesome.
They even had a
Tech
Tech Rat one. It was great.
I know. Tech Rat drawing on pizzazz with a mustache. And it's just like, wait, did
and he was
just
doing
get
it on a
with-
screen. That
I
was a
was
cool
saying-
part too. For the
Did he
80s,
just-
that's kind of completely innovative because they didn't have that back
I
then.
was gonna say, he totally just invented the new drawing tablets 20 years
Wow.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or those really cool things that they have, like I think I've seen DeviantArt do it at a couple of conventions where they have like this thing that you put on your monitor and you can actually draw on your screen.
Uh-huh.
It's like
Yeah.
that's new. I mean, they didn't have that, 20 years ago.
So see, Tech Rat, Jim and the Hologram invented something, maybe.
Either that or they
Yay.
put the thought into some inventor's head as
There
a
you go.
child, and now we are seeing the results of that because they were inspired by seeing Gem and the Holograms.
And of course, UFO stage.
Yeah.
Enough said. I want that. I would so love to see. Oh my gosh, I would have so much fun with that. Yeah, make it happen, people. Where would you park it though?
You'd have
On
to
the
have a
roof.
special thing for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
For hologram moments, I already went.
Oh, yeah.
For that, yeah.
Right.
All right, so we are gonna get to the misfit moments after this.
All night long. Jam. All night long. Get into the spirit. Get into the soul. That you and me is for the melody. That you and me get into harmony. Babe, you and me. We make a symphony. Oh, listen to the beat. Baby, sure make the music sweet. Jam. All night long. Jam. All night long. Babe, we got the spirit. Babe, you are the soul. Jam all night long.
All right, it is time for the misfit moments for the Jem Jam Part 2. At first, I thought Dominic needed a stern talking to. I mean, treating people like garbage or like you're better than they are, that is not cool at all.
Yep.
And
It
wow,
wouldn't have had any effect. He needed to have an actual learning moment.
well, true. And wow, that zoo has lousy security.
Oh yes.
There's no way,
I too.
no way in hell any child could jump. Oh, there's no. Even back then, I know because I went to the New England Zoo. I went to the New England Zoo a few times, and when I was living in Massachusetts as a kid, and there was all kinds of security all over that. There's no way you'd be able to jump into one of the enclosures. Just no way.
Especially without them knowing, like when afterwards, where they're trying to get her out and all that, they would be on that in like a heartbeat.
That's all I got. What do you got, Amy?
Okay, I put this in here because I thought, okay, so the guard dogs are, really awesome. That's not a dispute. It's the one thing, it's the one time Synergy fails Gem is, she turns into Pizzazz and, she's not able to thwart the dogs. And I was like, oh, poor Synergy. Oh, let's see
Maybe
here.
Jerica needed to learn a lesson too.
Yeah. Holograms will only get you so far. Not the holograms will not get you past dogs. There you go. The only one that can control the guard dogs is Pizzazz's dad. Are you kidding me? He's a busy guy. He goes all over the place. You would think that if Pizzazz is not going with him, which I would think that he'd prefer her not, that he would have somebody there that would be able to control the dogs if she couldn't. You know what I mean? So it's just like, as much as I'm like, I know it's a brilliant moment, it would not have happened if they obeyed Pizzazz. But it's just like, you'd think that like one of the other security guards would have like, you know, like this thing with the dogs or something like that. No, it's got to be her dad who's going to be gone all weekend. Oh no. I didn't like how Jerica was giving Bonnie such a hard time about wanting to go to the zoo alone with Randy. I was like, okay, what? That kind of threw me. I was like, you're giving her a hard time because she was hoping to go to the zoo with Randy by herself?
Jerica's a little stressed.
Yeah, I was like, wow, what a way to take it out on your little kid. The Bonnie reaction is a little crazy, and I've already kind of talked about that already, so.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, maybe I would have liked the whole Bonnie storyline if they had approached it differently. Like, if she would have just, and I understand that, okay, she slipped and fell and couldn't ask him because she was on the roller skates when he was jogging, but, like, if she would have just come up and asked him, "Are you my father?" instead of just
assuming.
She's essentially stalking the poor guy.
Yeah, the poor guy.
You know, it's like...
Yeah, this is what I have for one of my misfit moments. The whole Bonnie thing, yeah. I really thought it should have ended because, what's his name? I just lost his name. Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was saying, "Oh, I wish I could be your father." Well, you can. You could adopt her. I would have wished that would have been the conclusion to that storyline. Like, yeah, I'm going to adopt her. We're having a great time together, you know, and their lives both change for the better. But it doesn't, and it's just like, yeah, I would love to be your father, but I'm having too much of a good time being a rock star, so you're too much of an inconvenience. You know?
My God, I know that, what's his name? Damn it, Johnny. I know Johnny is supposed to be an offshoot of Bruce Springsteen, but imagine if Johnny was an offshoot of John Bon Jovi, and Randy was Richie Sambora. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was like one of my big misfit moments. It's like, you know what? You could have had like this whole big conclusion of where one of the Starlight girls actually get to go home and actually have, you know, the family that she's wanting, apparently, because apparently she doesn't like where she's at. She's run away. She's always complaining. I wish there was just a different ending to that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of it just seems a little,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's too much of one thing and not enough of something else to kind of balance it all out. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, I also like I like to think that Tech Rat is a little bit of a germaphobe, and that's why he dropped the controls, and that's why they were smashed. Yeah.
Hasn't he learned he needs to make industrial strength stuff?
Yeah.
Fish around the misfits. Come on.
Well, this is the one where he said that he was going to hang on to the controls and stuff like that. But I thought, you know, if you know that you're a little bit of a germaphobe or something like that, would you be in the middle of the crowd?
No,
you know?
you would not.
Would you be someplace where you could actually see everything and control everything? It's a misfit moment on the fact that he's just not more aware of his limitations socially, and that he would be like, hey, I'm going to go someplace else where it's not going to aggravate them touching me. I'm a germaphobe.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
All right. Since we are going to be doing the season 1 recap later on in this episode, we're going to do the ratings a little different. We're going to actually rate the episodes after we talk about them. So, Amy, in this instance for the Jem Jam, since it is a two-parter, since essentially it is one story, we're going to rate it as one story. What would you rate the Jem Jam overall?
I felt that this one would definitely deserve a 4. It worked really well for me. So, beside the little things that we have pointed out, there weren't that many holes in the plots.
Mhm.
I mean, there were little things to pick out, but there weren't a ton of them. So I figured that I felt that it did really well. So I rated it a 4.
Nicole?
I agree. I'm gonna give it a 4. It could have got a higher rating, but the whole Bonnie thing just really drugged out.
And
You know?
Rio.
Don't get her started. She's got plenty of Rio ammunition for later.
Yes,
Come on now.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
my Rio moment hasn't even started. Okay.
I know.
No,
Alright.
the thing is, I'm tempted to just give it like maybe even like a 4.2 maybe because of
You
laser
can't
suits.
give it a.
Now we're
Laser
gonna
suits,
just-
man.
You can give it a 4.5, but I'm not giving it a 4.2. I'll give you
No,
a
I'm just gonna give it
4.5.
I'm
but-
just gonna give it a 4. But it's so
Okay.
tempting because of those outfits. And
The laser
UFO.
suits really are very worthy of that. Yeah.
Laser suits at a UFO stage. Dang it, that's so cool. But the whole Bonnie
Regardless-
thing and the whole zoo thing is just like, that's how I feel.
Just fart on it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how awesome the suits in the stage were, I have to give this a 3.5. I could not stand the Bonnie storyline in this. I just if they would have written it slightly differently and come at it at a different angle and not make her a child stalker of this adult male, that's honestly what it feels like to me. Is this kid is stalking this guy
Yeah.
and not even telling him why she wants to talk to us. So 3.5.
Newsflash, this is her MO from now on, just to let you know.
Well, the thing is, I really wish that would been a whole separate episode.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it is. It is much later.
I know. Trust me. It's not like I don't like the little kid.
Yeah.
She's not one of the more annoying ones. Okay. Ashley kind of grew on me the last episode.
Wow. All right. Let's move on to the next episode after this.
Like surprises? Well, I've got one for you. I hope you like surprises. 'Cause there's one coming too. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You won't believe your eyes when I get through. When you least expect it, baby, I'll be there. I'll catch you off guard 'cause I don't play fair. Better beware. Surprise, surprise. If you're wise, you get out of my way. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So you like surprises? Surprise, surprise. They're a lot of fun. Surprise, surprise. Well, here's another one. Surprise, 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 surprise. I'm gonna make you day. Surprise, surprise. I'm gonna make a good day. Surprise.
Up next is Culture Clash. The air date for this episode was February 22nd, 1987. An eccentric artist, Fitzgerald Beck, a.k.a. Bumblebee, we'll talk about that here in a minute, is the art director for Jem and the Holograms' new video. Beck's art dealer is using his sculptures to smuggle stolen diamonds. The Misfits find this out and set up the sculptures to explode on stage while Jem and the Holograms are filming the video, leading the police to believe it was Jem and the Holograms and Beck who put the diamonds there. Jem and the Holograms must team up with Beck to find the actual culprit before the cops catch them.
Yeah.
The featured The featured songs are Surprise, Surprise by the Misfits, I Believe in Happy Endings by Jem and the Holograms. What were you going to say,
I
Amy?
was just going to say, yeah, because the Misfits don't need to crack open any statues to find out that there's diamonds inside. They just
Yeah,
can see through it, right?
Oh, no, I like how Roxy's like, girl's best friend. I'm like, I knew I like you, girlfriend. She knows the sound of goodness.
It's like it could have been anything. You need to open it up and make sure. It's like just because it sounds, it could have been a marble for all you know.
But you know what? I give Misfits benefit. Maybe they're fans of modern art and they didn't want to destroy it.
Maybe
See,
they
that's
have
the one thing
X-ray
that they never
vision
destroyed.
too.
there's just something that they never totally destroyed.
Oh, geez, I think I just blew my own mind. What if they did have X-ray vision?
Don't even go there.
Maybe that's why Pizzazz likes Rio. Sorry.
And The wow. Wow. The PSA for this one talks about riding bikes at night and riding on the proper side of the street. The funniest and coolest thing about the PSA, as I mentioned earlier, Bumblebee is in this episode, both in voice and in car, because one of the cars that passes by on the street, this will be in the post, is actually a yellow Volkswagen Bug from Transformers. Just looks just like Bumblebee. It just doesn't have an Autobot symbol on it.
Yeah.
Maybe that was me. My very first car was a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle that was bright yellow. Just like
Awesome.
Bumblebee.
So wait a second.
I dated a guy who had one.
Wait a second here. Nicole went from driving an Autobot to stalking Decepticons. Wow. Oh.
Yep, my first car was G1 Bumblebee.
Good lord.
And I honestly think that car had a mind of its own, just like Herbie. It would turn itself on in the middle of the night. We'd be like, is my car running?
It was an
And it'd be
Autobot
like,
in disguise.
Yeah, it turned itself on in the middle of the night 4 different times.
I think you were on too many drugs back then,
I
too.
was the only one. We were having a family party one night. I'm just like, my car just turned itself on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, so I actually did do some research for this. I wanted to make sure. Dan Gilvezan, voice of G1 Bumblebee, he voices
Fritz.
Yeah. Fitzgerald Beck in this episode. He is also the voice of Sean Harrison from previous episodes.
Jeez.
So, yep.
It's not hard to know that it was Dan Gilvezan because you can hear it in the voice. I heard it was like, oh, look, it's Dan! Yay!
He sounds like a Spider-Man.
He just has a unique voice. Yeah.
I like Dan.
I love Dan. He's awesome.
Dan is awesome. It's... I will, back when, a few years ago, when he released his autobiography, Bumblebee and Me, My Life as a G1 Transformer, I had to buy the audio version because it's him reading it, and it is so hilarious. Oh god, it's so awesome, so amazing. All right, Amy, thoughts on the plot here?
This was a good one. I like the fact that we get this strange, oddball, artistic guru. Well, he's not really a guru. He's just kind of like, he's very eccentric, and it really doesn't fit with it really doesn't fit with Jem and the Holograms. But there's just so many there's so many weird, kooky ways that it could just go wrong, and I loved it because of that. Just because I thought, he's an artist, dude. He's just got this taste that that probably doesn't fit with anybody. I mean, really. And he's very misunderstood because of that. And it really worked for me. And I was just really happy to hear Dan voicing the guy. He just does a really good job with him. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It was a fun, odd episode. Also, while we're talking about giving the Transformers buzz with this, David Wise wrote this episode.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. It says it right here in your the thing that you read off every time.
Oh yeah.
David Wise wrote it. Yeah.
Wow.
And for listeners out there that don't know, he wrote quite a few really prolific Transformers episodes. So
yeah,
he was kind of the dude. It was Flint and David. Yeah, they did a lot of stuff. So good times.
He wrote one of which the most violent part of the scene isn't in the actual episode, but he wrote one of the most violent scripts for a Transformers episode ever in War Dawn, because originally when Megatron meets Orion Pax, he rips Orion Pax's arm right out of the socket.
As Megatron should do.
Oh,
yes,
here we go.
Totally his
Here we go. Here we go.
And back to Jem and the Holograms.
Yes, please. Thank you. Nicole, thoughts on Culture Clash plot?
When I first saw this, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. I'm like, oh my gosh, this has gone. I do not get modern art or pop culture art, and I did it back then, and I still don't get it now. And especially some of those performance art pieces, I'm like, this is still going on 30 years later.
Mhm.
You know, I just don't. But I watched it again for the second time. I'm like, okay, it's really fun. These gadgets are really kooky and everything, and Dan Gilvezan really just sold me. I don't know if it's because I love G1 Bumblebee. I was just like, that's G1 Bumblebee in his human form. If he was part of the human form,
He does. He has the yellow on his hair and everything. It's great.
yeah. So I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. He kind of looks like Dan, a little bit.
He looks like Dan.
He does. It's a yeah. The second time I watched it was a lot better viewing. So.
For me, I like the plot. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I will say that it is your standard, art dealer, criminal, conspiracy kind of thing. But the good thing about Gem and the Holograms is they don't, unlike Mask, they don't do this plot, this type of, we got to smuggle. They don't do a smuggling plot every single episode. So I don't mind it so much here.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch Mask, it's treasure hunt after treasure hunt after.
I mean, this one they do the bombs and this to blow up and stuff like that, which they've done in previous episodes for different reasons. Like,
right.
They use a few things that they've done before, but it's completely unique in the fact that now it's about setting them up to get them in trouble, which you think that would backfire, and I'll have that in my misfit moment. But yeah, it was interesting because I could totally see like a group or a band trying to get an artistic feel with it, and it going completely wrong, and that's exactly what it does because not all artists kind of fit with other artists. It's one of those things that if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But anyhow, yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the hologram moments after this.
Fitzgerald Beck's name will really lend prestige to our video.
Yeah, but what does he do? He can do anything.
You'll understand more at this party he's throwing.
Ow! What kicked me?
It's one of Beck's sculptures. Look, there's some more.
I guess sometimes more is less. What is this? He's going to perform Fitzgerald Beck's Piano Sonata. What's happening now? Second movement! Anthony, what have you gotten us into? Fitzgerald Beck's still not here. Does this guy bother to show up for anything?
Bring it in.
Tell me I'm crazy, maybe I know, but I believe in happy endings.
God! This is Beck's idea of how to do a video?
He's coming down. You don't want to hurt his feelings. You know how sensitive artists are. Fitzgerald Beck, meet Jim.
You fascinate me.
Yeah, but you sure have a funny way of showing it.
This is time for hologram moments. Bumblebee is Sean Harrison and Fitzgerald Beck. Yay, Dan Gilvezan, I already mentioned that. The sculptures, they're so funny when attempting to capture Maria. I thought that was hilarious.
Awesome.
At the end of the episode. I like this one overall. There weren't really too many moments that kind of stuck out for me. The songs could have probably... I don't know. Amy, you mentioned, and you'll probably mention here in a moment, that you swear you've heard I Believe in Happy Endings before, but I honestly didn't remember it until this. What do you got for hologram moments, Amy?
I loved the Blue Man Group wannabes at the very beginning. That made me laugh. It's the white man group that are hitting each other, hitting themselves on the head with spoons. But it totally reminded me of the Blue Man Group. And I know this was way before their time, but still, it was just like, I looked at that and said, oh, look, it's the white Blue Man Group. It was very unique. I like the fact that Kimber gets the wrong ocean and then Aja corrects her. That was brilliant. Because geography points go to Aja. Fitzgerald is a menace. Jem says that. I was like, ouch. Oh. And that's not that often that Jem says something so, painful to somebody. But it was very comical, and that's why I put it in my hologram moments. Eric likes Fitzgerald Beck, and I have to say, from one record to another, I like that was cool. And because I like his industrial vibe, type of thing. Anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of fits, Eric's destructive nature. The Jem pie moment in the face in the, what is it, the music video, Surprise Surprise. I thought that was funny as well. I almost expect one of the sculptures. Now, I know this is going to go completely bad, completely wrong. Because they're animated, they move. I almost expect one of the sculptures to grab one of the holograms or something. Just like, yeah, squeezy. Sorry. Haven't we, like I mentioned, the believe in happy endings. There's just something about it that just, it seems like we've heard it. Maybe it's a little jingle at the very beginning or something. Something about it just seems so familiar, even more than having gone through all of the episodes and heard it. I was like, I know it. I've heard it before, obviously, because I've heard I've listened to Jem a couple times already as it is, but there's just in the last couple weeks as we've been reviewing these episodes, it just sounds like we've heard this song somewhere in the last couple of episodes that we've reviewed. So I couldn't find it. I tried looking, but I couldn't find it. But I still like it. I'm not knocking it for that, but it just had a feel to it that maybe it's just like a little jingle in it that sounds like we've heard it already. I don't know.
It might be that they use the undertrack for something else. I don't think we've heard the actual song before, but
just like at the very beginning where she goes, ooh, she has that ooh, and I'm like going, have they used that in another song? I know they've done something like that.
Yeah, it's quite possibly.
I'd have to go back and listen to all of them, and I'm like, okay, then I would finally put my finger on that was the one that it is, but I don't have all of the songs on autoplay. I have to go through each and every single episode, to get all of those. So I don't have the DVD set. I'm watching this off Netflix.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Yeah, that's my those are my moments.
Nicole?
Okay, I gotta say my favorite moment was when is it Fitzgerald or Fitz?
Mm-hmm.
It's just Fitz. I can't. He just comes out and says that he likes Jem. I'm like, my gosh, this guy is actually one of the first guys to actually do this. He needs to teach Rio a lesson, okay? And this wishy-washy, I might like you. I mean, he comes out and he's like, I like you, but it's not gonna work out. And he was friend zoned. That's a misfit moment, man. It's friend zone, man. Just like Bumblebee. If Bumblebee could have a girlfriend, he'd be friend zoned.
Oh no, poor Bumblebee would be friend zoned forever.
Just a bunch of Bumble baggage.
I like that Eric Raymond is a fan of pop art. I don't get it, but he genuinely seemed happy. He seemed happy for a moment. I'm like,
it's probably one of the few destructive things that he likes to do, to be honest. But it fits because it's so industrial, and it's like, I can totally see him liking that.
I liked it though, because it's just like, oh, we finally get to see him be genuinely happy without a wrecking ball for once.
Until they try to use him.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't
felt
put
sorry
that in here,
for him.
Yeah, it kind of made me feel a little sad for him.
They're like, oh, well, you like this piece of crap. Well, it's not what's on the outside.
It's as Maria and the other guy walk away, and he's like saying, I'm trying to hide from the cops. Thanks for taking these off my hands. I'm trying to hide from the cops, under his breath. And I'm like going, geez, Eric, you're being used.
I know.
I mean, you deserve it, because how many times have you done things like that to other people? But still.
Yeah, I would say those were my two. I mean, I still enjoyed the episode, but there wasn't like things that totally stood out that you guys haven't mentioned yet. So,
yeah. All right, let's get to the misfit moments after this. It is time for the Misfit moments for Culture Clash. I think the Misfits looked better in the all-black uniforms rather than their usual trashy clothes.
What?
The Tron uniforms.
Yeah, the Tron uniforms are awesome.
They are, but that's what I'm saying. I like them better in those than their usual trashy clothes that they wear.
I like to see you say that to Pizzazz's face. As she claws her eyes out.
Yeah.
You'll never have to see him again.
She totally would say that. And you don't have to see him again.
I so could play Pizzazz.
You both could be stand-ins for Tech Rat.
Don't touch me!
All right, Amy, what are some Misfit moments for this one?
I don't think I can pull off that hairdo.
I don't think I could either, but still, it's awesome. Oh, goodness. Okay, Misfit moments. Artists aren't that sensitive. Come on.
Oh, my God.
They said they're sensitive. It's like, really? It's like, if you don't like it, I think that they would be hurt for you, parading around as if it's like the best thing ever than anything else. Oh my gosh. Or maybe some artists are, but I would be like, I don't think all artists are that sensitive. Okay. So, I'm just right because I wrote a couple notes and I can't understand what I said here. Sorry. Oh, okay. So in the boat, they're driving in the boat, right? And they're taking a shot of the holograms doing their little concert thing on the boat, and it's like, then suddenly they can't, they get too far ahead, like they can't see us at this distance. How would you know? You're not on the other side of a camera. You guys are musicians, not film people. It's like, you were out of, and then Jem goes, "Oh, we're out of control." I was like, okay, that's a leap in logic. It seemed a little bit too obvious and convenient that she said that instead of them saying, "Hey, I think that, are we a little too far away?" And you think, yeah. Well, but then on the other hand, you would think that they would have like an actual like somebody manning the ship or just watching the controls to make sure that they're, within legal limits or something like that, like security on their boat. Even if they were like hiding away or something like that, just in case there was a problem for whatever reason. I mean, they are out in the middle of the river somewhere. If something goes wrong, you'd think that they'd have somebody there to just kind of watch their back just in case. And of course, something does go wrong. So hey,
I have that down too.
Yeah, it's just like that was really odd. Okay, so if we take back off the project, we will lose credibility. Really? You're gonna lose credibility if you take an artist off a project? It's like, this happens all the time. It's like something where it just is not a good fit. It's better to.
I blame all of this because Shayna broke up with what's his bucket, and now he's getting revenge on the rest of them. Yeah, Anthony. He's getting revenge. He's getting revenge on the rest of them because we haven't seen Sean and him together since episode 2.
True.
Yeah.
True. I know, it was just kind of like, there's just a few things in there that I thought, that's not true. It's like, look, if you have a project, you bring two people together and they don't work together. How often do you see in the tabloids, where they have diplomatically separated on their own terms? It happens all the time. We'll lose credibility. As no, you won't. Lose credibility. Okay, so, and then what I pointed out, the fact that they rattle the statues, and suddenly now they can find out. Suddenly now the Misfits can hear diamonds inside, and like, I
understand jewelry too. I get it. I get where Roxy's coming from.
Yeah, but it could have been anything. I think I would have opened it just to see. It's like, what is that rattling noise in there? Because one, it would bother me that it's rattling, and two, I'd be like, hasn't anybody else noticed that there's a rattle in this? It's like, would it be that cheaply made? And you just open it up and like, oh my gosh, there's a diamond in here.
Well, because all his contraptions make such loud noises, they probably didn't recognize it, or they probably thought, hey, that noise is supposed to come from it. I don't know.
I'm just picking at the fact that they're able to figure that it's diamonds without actually having proof that it's diamonds. Because they based everything all off that at that point. Then they put explosives in the devices because they want to set Jem and back up and think that they're going to, put them into deep water and trouble. I was like, yeah. I like the fact that, I thought it was funny that the explosions that they have on stage, none of them hurt anybody because they're explosions, right? Flying debris, nobody gets hurt or burned or, stabbed or anything like that. Some of the diamonds are actually red.
Oh my gosh, someone's going around. Oh, there's explosions. I'm just going to go stab people now.
Well, I mean, like flying debris, like shrapnel,
like
getting stuck in their legs or something like that, getting,
Okay. I thought you meant like someone's going around stabbing people.
Oh, well, they, yeah. Yes, some of the robots, just give them knives. They'll start stabbing people.
True. That's not what those robots can do.
Oh, goodness. Some of the diamonds are red, so wouldn't they maybe be something else, like rubies?
Actually, diamonds come in all different colors.
True. I just thought it was kind of convenient that some of them are white and some of them are red. I was like, maybe that was because of the explosion. I don't know.
Maybe it's white wine diamonds and red wine diamonds.
Those are truly blood diamonds.
Yeah.
They got the blood of the Misfits victims in them.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, then.
And then because Maria wouldn't be a dead giveaway or under investigation with Jem because, Jem and the Holograms and Beck, because she's this distributor or supporter or whatever.
She's an art dealer, yeah.
She's an art dealer, okay. So she wouldn't be under investigation like the other two are, right? Because it wouldn't be obvious that, she would also be under investigation because they found these, jewels. Yeah. And I love that the security in her club is so incredibly tight.
Yeah, this is one thing so far in this series. I mean, we're wrapping up season 1 here. So one thing that I don't particularly like about the series is that if Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits have been around for X number of years to this point, that the Misfits automatically say, oh, well, it's Jem and the Holograms. They must have done it. And the police take the Misfits' word for it.
Yeah.
I love, all policemen and women, but it's one of those things where, Jesus Christ, do you have dunce caps on your heads? Do not believe anything the Misfits tell you.
Yeah. Well, you'd think that they'd have a rap sheet so long that they'd be like, okay, thank you, Miss Gabor.
You'd think,
Thank you, Miss Gabor, for your suggestion. We'll look into that. Not. Actually,
what about you?
The rap sheet would actually show that most likely they're the ones that you should be looking into every single time.
Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Nicole, for Misfit moments? Did you get all yours out of the way? Or?
No, okay. I got confused because at the beginning they're talking about they're visiting New York City. I thought that's where Starlight Music was at.
No, it's in L.A.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was
on the
New
West
York
Coast.
for some reason. Okay,
No.
I just got confused there, so I just had to ask that question. Again, there's...
If it is, it's Westchester.
Yeah.
And there's a academy in the basement.
Again, lack of security again. Really, they didn't bother to have like a captain on this boat or check, like supply or, how things work in the boat or something. Yeah.
Or, it looked like an old boat because there was junk and stuff on it. You never know if, like, some of that junk became unstable, if it would, like, fall down on top of them or something.
Yeah, it's just like, hello.
Or just for security reasons, just because, like, I would believe that some of these ladies would pretty much have their own stunt double and stuff like that, We've done that before, right?
Yeah. And then, I don't get Art, really. Because you listen to this song and he's doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, I don't get why you think this matches their song. I didn't get that. Throwing paint on them. They're being on a tire barge. When the song is, very pretty ballad, I'm like, I don't get this. But I don't get Art a whole lot. Art to me, I like it.
Yeah. You would think that the camera, and I don't know, you have to treat your trades properly. You have to treat your support staff properly, but you'd think that the camera boat would be on the barge and they would be on the actual, because the two boats, one of them was basically a yacht.
Yeah.
And the other one was the garbage barge. You'd think that the camera crew would be on the garbage barge.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Anything else for this one?
Yeah, I got one last thing.
Okay.
And this might come to a shock for you. I think this whole season, it's been a sham that Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits hate each other. Because if you look at it, they're always in each other's videos.
True.
If you didn't like someone, you wouldn't work that close with them. You do one project and that was it.
That's true, and it's
Well,
even the
we'll
stuff that they're doing at each other, like in each in each music video. How would you pay them to make a special appearance in your video? No.
Exactly.
It's like they just refuse. They'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. No.
It's all a game. They're playing
Yeah.
the audience. Mm-hmm.
All right. Rating
Am I wrong?
For this...
Am I wrong?
No, nuts.
No, you do bring up an interesting point. This is what's so awesome about animation is that you don't have to have the other person's permission. You can just put it in there, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Sort of, especially for characters that don't exist, like Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits. They don't exist, so they can do it. They can wrap their brain around that.
Mm-hmm. What would you rate Culture Clash, Amy?
I'm gonna rate this one a 3. It wasn't as it just had this oddness to it, and there were a few things again the whole security stuff was I don't know if I buy that.
Mm-hmm.
It was still fun though.
Yeah, Nicole.
Again, I'm with Amy. When I watched the first time, I probably would have given it a 2.5. But it's the whole Dan thing. Dan Gildan really just brought it up that little extra dot.
Yeah, it's worth a half point
guy.
for him, right?
And his character kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm with Amy again. 3.
It's 3s all around. This isn't as bad. There weren't as many nitpicks I had in this one, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like they were going anywhere. Again, this felt more like a villain of the week thing. Even though Eric and the Misfits are there, I mean, the art dealer, she felt like your standard, villain of the week that the A-Team would fight or something.
Yeah.
It just, 3s all around for us on this one. We are going to get to the final episode of the day after this.
How does it feel to be popular, knowing all the fans adore you? How does it feel? How does it feel to be popular, knowing the press won't ignore you? How does it feel to be worshipped from afar? It feels dynamite. It feels like you're a star. How does it feel? How does it feel to be on the charts? How do you like the glamour? How does it feel? How does it feel when the clapping starts and your heart starts to stammer? How does it feel to be as famous as you are? It feels out of sight. It feels like you're a star. How does it feel?
All right, finally up today is Glitter and Gold. The air date for this episode is March 15th, 1987. No, wait, is that right? No, that can't be right.
March
What's the air date?
15th.
No, it was the 22nd. No, it's the 22nd because the other one was. No, yeah, this is right.
You're right. That's what it says on the
That's right,
webpage.
that's right,
I'm
that's
looking at the
right.
same webpage as you.
Oh, yeah. Jem hasn't been heard from in some time, and Jerica doesn't seem to care. The Misfits waste no time capitalizing on her absences, especially when Owen Beach, the owner of Discovery Records. Disc is spelled as in, an old floppy disk, D-I-S-K.
Ouch.
Discovery Records promotes a contest awarding a gold album award and a new car, the Glitter and Gold Roadster. It looks just like the current Rockin' Roadster.
Yeah, it does.
Looks no different.
It's more white instead of orange.
And its name is a direct ripoff. I'm saying.
Of their song, yeah.
Yeah, of their own car already.
Yeah. After an argument with Rio, the Holograms try to persuade Jerica to make a new album to compete with the Misfits. Jerica is somewhat resistant to the idea, feeling it may be too late to enter the contest, but when she overhears Eric making a comment that she ruined Jem's career, it galvanizes her to enter and promises Owen Beach she and the Holograms will deliver a new album in time for the contest. The group decides to use the prizes for the contest as the theme for their new album and a look called Glitter and Gold. The featured songs on this one are How Does It Feel by the Misfits, Glitter and Gold, Gem and the Holograms, We're Up, You're Down, crossover between Gem and the Holograms and the Misfits. I love this episode. This might be one of my favorite episodes of the entire series, honestly. Like, this is, outside of the 5-parter that was the beginning of the show, this is the one episode I remember. And I absolutely dig it, because this, to me, has a feel like that old movie, that old 90s movie, Empire Records, with Liv Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And who else is in that? Anthony Bacali. Oh, crap. Anthony LaPaglia, that's what it is. But yeah, so overall, I love the plot. I think it's great. I think it's really cool that they did an album contest more so than a video contest where it's dependent on the sales of each band's albums. I think that's really cool. Just overall, absolutely love this one. What about you, Amy?
I'm completely the opposite, actually.
Really?
Yes. I thought it was too obvious that it was all glitter and gold. It's you know they're gonna win the second that they walk in here, especially when you see the Rockin' Roadster that they have. It's not a Rockin' Roadster, it's a glitter and gold Roadster. I'm like, come on. You know they're gonna enter, even though Jerica's like, oh, it's like, okay, she's the CEO of Starlight Music and she's not gonna promote Jem. Really? She doesn't want to make money for her company? And there was this whole time delay. Is like, what, Jem hasn't been heard of from some time? Like, wait a minute, did this happen like, a couple of months after the last episode? It's just, I didn't get it. I thought, wow, okay. I'm not against the idea. I love it. I love the idea. It's just how it pulled off. I didn't think it worked for me, which is kind of sad because I like the glitter and gold idea. And maybe as a kid, because I kind of thought, okay, it just seemed like, oh, cool, they're going to change their whole image and be glitter and gold. And then they kind of did it just a little bit, and then it just kind of fizzled out. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of the glitter and gold look over and over and over again. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, yeah. I like the plot. I like the idea of it. I like the contest where they have to bring out their own record and, who buys more of it. And that was really cool. It's just, yeah. I didn't like how it pulled off. So,
Nicole.
Sorry.
Okay, this is going to sound ironic. I'm smack dab in the middle of you guys. Because I got so excited at the beginning of this episode when Jerica's having a sit down with Rio. I'm like, this is it. She's going to tell him. And then I was kicked in the goodie bags because she never says anything after that. I was just like, what the hell? And they never mentioned it again. Never mentioned. And that's where it's just like, oh, come on. Really? Come on. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I was hoping. And then the whole Rio thing, period.
Oh, yeah. It's the same on and off again thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna go in it with
that. We'll get to that here in a little while.
Really good moments. Like, I was getting excited, and then it's just like, ugh. It was like a tug of war, and either way, I was gonna lose. It's just like So I'm like smack in the middle. Yeah. Because I got my hopes up, and they come crashing down. Oh.
Any other thoughts on the plot, ladies?
Oh, we'll go on to it with our moments here.
With our moments, we'll get the rest. Yeah.
Well, let's get to the hologram moments after this. It is time for the hologram moments for Glitter and Gold. This should be a Misfit moment, but I was just too shocked and just, I don't know. Synergy just knocked me on my ass this episode. Her simulation of Rio. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
That's one of my hologram moments. Just like spot on. She knows he's a douchebag too.
Now, when Rio does come to their rescue, when he comes to Jem's rescue and he says, "Batter up," he sounds just like Donatello. When Donnie's when it's just the delivery of the line. It's not it's not obviously. Crap, I can't think of that. It's Michael something. I forget what the voice is. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's a different voice actor, but just the way Rio says it reminds me so much. It reminds me so much of how Donatello did it in that first 5-parter of the '87 Turtles cartoon. Yeah.
Yep.
And I love, like I said before, I love the idea of album contest. I think that was, and Eric could not rig it at all. I mean, yeah, sure, Eric and the Misfits do go
Rio
to other
tries to.
Well, that's not technically fair. He was supporting the. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to all of that. Yeah. But overall, I mean, this episode just felt so fresh to me after a lot of the other ones in the season, and to end it on this kind of an episode for the season, I thought this was really good. I thought it was a really good season finale. It didn't really leave you on a cliffhanger, which is for a show like this is kind of good, because I don't think us as kids would have been able to wait 6-7 months for a cliffhanger to be resolved back then. I know my attention span as a kid was very, very short. Still is
what
now.
Are you saying?
But
I just lost it. What?
yeah, same. Amy, any hologram moments for this episode, seeing as how you hate it so much?
I wouldn't say I hate it. There's a lot of stuff to be picked at. I did like the whole triplet group that they had at the very beginning. Was it the Fifth Avenue Boys? Yep. I like seeing that they have other people that Starlight Music is sponsoring. Apparently, the Misfits, and I had to put this in here because I thought, okay, well, the Misfits have it made then. If Jem and the Holograms are truly been out of the spotlight like they've been saying, then Misfits do better than music. You do better at music than Jem and the Holograms do, because they're still on the top charts. They still have all the attention and all that. And I thought, okay, well, Jem and the Holograms, they dropped the ball, so Misfits they're pulling it off, man. Musical charts, they got it made. I did like how the song "How Does It Feel," in that they have like these outfits that are like black and have these different things on them. I kind of liked that. I was like, oh, I like that. I liked their black. The Misfits look good in black when they have like this black theme going on. They seem really slick and really like, oh, I really like that. So I had to point that out, as I like their outfit. Which is funny because the Tron outfits were also dark and black like that. They just had lasers on them. These ones don't. But anyhow, I like Roxy's "buy more people." She says that to Eric.
Was awesome.
Eric, buy more people. And I was like, I love you, Roxy. You're awesome. And of course, Pizzazz saying, "I hate losing." Oh,
that was awesome. And she's breaking up her own record.
She's stomping on her own record. I thought that was funny. You'd think that she would have picked up somebody else's and started stomping on it, but no,
that's how upset she was.
Yeah. Those are my moments.
Nicole, hologram moments.
Hologram moments. Okay, let's see. Synergy doing the Rio thing. I'm like, if I could high five you, girlfriend, I would. I'd just go right through you, though. Again, with the Misfits looks, I really liked. I especially like Pizzazz with her hair pulled back and the headband. I'm like, she looks really pretty there.
She does look good. She should do something different with her hair from time to time.
Yeah, is that just a really girly moment of me? I'm like, she looks really good with her hair pulled back. And I really still love Stormer. She has such a positive attitude being around some of the craziest moments. She's like, hey, at least we sold 500,000 albums, I'm just like, you know what, Stormer? You're right. You just made a lot of money. a lot of money. Okay, 500,000 albums is not nothing to just snub at. So, yeah, I really like Stormer's attitude. So there you go. There's my hologram moments.
All right, let's get to the Misfit moments after this.
We're up, we're moving. We made a big advance. You're down, start grooving, or you haven't got a chance. We're up, we're cooking. It's starting to work. You're down, start looking for another line of work. Heading for the skies. Our star is on the rise. The figures never lie. Girl, you better open your eyes. We're down, we're losing. There goes the London Cup. That's right, we're winning, which means you're numbers up. That's right, we're winning. Our momentum won't stop. That's right, we're winning, and we're going over the top.
It is time for the glitter and gold Misfit moments. Jerica sure is being bratty in the beginning of this episode.
Oh my gosh.
She like you mentioned earlier, Amy, I want to know how much time passed between Culture Clash and Glitter and Gold, because they make it sound like it's been
At least a
2
year
years
or something.
between-
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most artists, whether they are people like Hall & Oates or people like Phil Collins or even bands, Guns N' Roses, Metallica is slightly different. They don't put an album out every 2 or 3, 4 years, but most bands, most artists put an album out every 2, 3, maximum 4 years, unless something awful happens in their life and they have to go away from the music scene for a while. But usually I know people are gonna kill me for this, but it's been 3 years. As of right now, it's been 4 years since a new album came from one of my favorite Canadian bands. But at the time when it came out, it was 3 years, 2011 to 2014 for Nickelback's new album coming out in 2014, No Fixed Address. So usually it is a few years, but I wish we had some sort of some sort of monologue or something.
Yeah, they didn't put a thing in there. I mean, it would have been different if they had said it's been 3 years or something like that. Then it'd be like, oh, of course, if you did that, then all of the Starlight girls are obviously going to start looking older. And so it's that's why it was one of my Misfit moments, is the fact that the disparage of time just seems to be completely off. Like you said, if they're not putting out something, they have to be putting something out. And it just seems really odd that it's because as the audience is watching, hey, the Jem Jam could have happened 3 weeks ago, man. Mm-hmm. So the idea that it's been some time, and I'm like, that, and Jerica, if she really cares about being a music producer, and yeah, they are promoting other groups, like they said, the Triplet Group, the Fifth Avenue Boys, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then they mention them in the show. But it's okay, Jerica, bad attitude, Jerica. Why are you dissing on your girls, man? Why are you dissing on your homegirls? Come on. This is what got you into the business. If you're that not liking it, then, get rid of the earrings, stop, parading around as Jem, and tell the world who you really are, But it's just kind of okay, all right, Jerica, wow, somebody really needs to get, either therapy or, got to find a real boyfriend.
Yeah, oh, Lord, here we go. I only have 2 other things here.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait a damn minute. This is my breaking point on Kimber, where I want to smash something over her head.
Let's talk
You're right.
Wait.
Agree. Go ahead.
Wait a damn minute here. Kimber makes a quote-unquote date with a new guy Saturday at 6 p.m., yet she gets on Jeff's motorcycle and rides away into the sunset with him. What the hell? And then she makes a date with Jeff the same night at the same time.
You want to know something?
First of all, is she in a relationship with Jeff? We're led to believe that when she gets on his fucking motorcycle and rides off with him.
Kimber,
she's such a ditz.
I figured out what Kimber's problem is. Kimber is Taylor Swift. Am I
Wow.
wrong? Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay.
Taylor Swift has a new boyfriend like every other week,
And-
she writes the songs about it.
Yeah, she writes her own
Kimber-
songs. Kimber is the one that writes the songs too, so it's like, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
you're breaking my brain over this. Oh my gosh,
Kimber
it's
is
just totally
Taylor
Taylor.
So we have
And what?
80s version of Michael Bay, and we have an 80s version of Taylor Swift. Holy crap.
But the thing is, and look at it, because Taylor Swift can't control how much eyeliner she has on. Look at Kimber; she has the same problem too. You know, I tell you,
Wow.
Taylor Swift was created in the '80s when Kimber was on Jem and the Holograms.
Wow.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No. No.
No, you're surprisingly, eerily right.
And you always hear about Taylor Swift,
And it
mixing and
explains
matching her pen.
everything.
I was, after seeing the Synergy's prediction of how Rio would act, I was really rooting for him to act a different way.
Yeah.
I was really rooting for him, like, for her to actually tell him the damn secret. And, to see what his reaction was. But the fact that he acts just like she predicted, that just pissed me off.
It kind of bothered me too. I was like, you know what? I want Synergy is just, in the end, just a really, really high-tech machine.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's funny because he's so hypocritical. And we've talked about this, we've kind of alluded to it earlier in the episode already, is that the fact that Rio is like calling her out for being a liar and accusations throwing at Jerica over, keeping secrets, when in fact he does the same dang thing when he can't make up his mind who he's going to be in love with, Jerica or Jem.
Mm-hmm. That leads me into my final hologram moment. I am so sick of this damn love triangle between Jerica, Jem, and Rio. I'm really getting sick of it at this point. Really getting sick of it. It just, oh my god.
It's whiplash. It's the whiplash of the show. Because it's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. You're like,
yeah, it pretty much is. What about you, Amy? What'd you have for,
yeah.
moments?
At the very beginning, Jerica catches Rio thinking about Jem. Really? Just really? It's just like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's like, okay. I'm tired of, Okay, and then she's going off. She says, I'm tired about hearing about Jem and the Holograms. You are Jem. Come on. You knew this was going to happen. But you're also the boss, and you also have to,
She's playing two parts. Yeah.
She's just, it really bothers me that she's playing the representative of that, and she's also the head of Starlight Music, and she's like, I'm tired of hearing about one of my own clients. I'm like, really? You're going to go off like that? Wow. Okay. I also mentioned about the Glitter and Gold Roadster because it's not a ripoff of, Jem and the Holograms already titled car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Synergy with her deal. Oh goodness.
Hi, Stewie.
Yeah.
Hi, Stewie.
No.
Yes, that's my little alarm. Sorry. I was expecting that one to go off. Okay. Yeah. All of this stuff. It's the drama. I mean, we could go for the next 20 minutes talking about Rio and his drama. The lies and the things that he's doing behind, it's more of the fact that if he wasn't lying to himself, it would just be honest about his feelings for both Jem and Jerica and make up his mind who he's going to go after. But he's always switching from every episode to every episode. It's like, even in mid episodes.
See, here's the thing. If he fucking knows that they're the same damn person, there would be absolutely no reason for this love triangle to even happen in the rest of the...
Exactly. The only thing that you'd have to worry about is other people catching him cheat.
Yeah.
At the tabloids going, is he cheating on Jerica or is he cheating on Jem?
Yeah.
That's the only thing they'd really have to worry about is what everybody else outside of their relationship would be. But like, they could it would just be so much easier if they just came clean about it, and he'd like, sure, there'd be a little bit of drama, but to be honest, it would make their lives so much easier. They could have focused on something else. Some people like giving them a hard time, or always constantly telling Jerica that he's cheating on you, and she'd be like, no, he's not. He's not cheating. And they'd be like, no, he's cheating on you. See, he's kissing on Jeff. That could have been the drama, right? I would have liked that. That would have been hilarious. Especially if they, yeah, anyhow, we could go down that road. But the thing is that they never do go down that road.
No.
Okay, so again, of course, he goes off on Kimber about having 2 dudes to date. Now, granted, Kimber, that was a bad move. But I have to say, I don't think I know that many guys that if they both showed up at the same time, you know, Jeff and Max, they'd be like, oh, I'm here to go on a date. And that they would get in an instant fight. I think they'd be instantly upset at her for doing that to them.
You'd think, yeah.
Bros before hoes, man.
No, I mean, it's just like, you know, hey, they would feel a little used. Like, hey, you set up another date with another guy? What's going on here? And, you know, same probably result, but it would be directed at Kimber rather than... And she would have done it to herself. You know, Rio wouldn't have had to kick a plant over it, in fact. He would have been like... You know, he was just like, oh, you got what you got, you know? They told it to you better than I could have, you know? Oh,
you know, this whole episode, it reminds me of a certain television show that has been going on for a number of years now. This whole thing, trying to see when this started. It's too bad that the Jerry Springer Show started September 20th, 1991, and not 1987. I swear to God, if you took, what's his name, Jeff and Max and Kimber, they are the Jerry Springer Show in this episode.
Jeez. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Jem and the Holograms are the only ones that can compete with the Misfits. Yeah. Because, yeah, nobody else out there. I mean, not even Luna or you know, Lena Lerner could compete with them, right? Because they're much more popular. It's just, okay. Because of Raymond, Jem gets angry and joins the glitter and gold contest. And I thought, really? That's your reason for getting into it? Is just because of Raymond? It's like, well, poop on Raymond. If he had just shut his mouth, then they would have won. Okay, Jerica gets this big attitude in this episode, and I really don't like it. I was completely turned off by that. See, I thought it was funny that Raymond is paying people off to buy Misfit records, but then it comes back to get him in the tushy, because then that one lady walks in there and buys a Jem one, and so he's like, of course sets off Roxy to say, buy more people.
Yeah. You know, I'm wondering though. I'm really interested to know how many people Eric paid off that actually went in and bought a Misfits record. Oh, like they could have gone in and just like the old lady gone in and bought a Jem record.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I mean.
Well, now that they're talking about records, I mean, it's like they kind of change the rules as you go, because anybody is in there buying a record. All of the Starlight girls go in there and buy a record, but when Rio buys a record, they have to disqualify that. I'm like, wait a second.
Wait a second. Well, it kind of does. I mean, because he does work for them.
The Starlight girls all bought one.
Yeah, but they even though they are Jerica's foster girls,
from that.
Right, but the thing
it's the timing. If he had bought it early, if he had bought it like at the very beginning, said, "Oh, I'll just put one in and buy it," it wouldn't have made a big deal. It's the fact that he's doing it at the last minute, and I thought, you know, really, you can't. It just the rules just seem to kind of make him up as you go. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. What? Oh, okay. And then again, like he gets angry earlier in the episode with Kimber and Jerica. You're trying to, keep your secrets to yourself, blah blah blah. And then she goes off to because she's like, Jerica has all of these records that she's got to drop off. she gets into trouble and he comes and saves her. And he's like, I get angry, but it doesn't mean I don't care. I'm like going, golly, on and off again, aren't we? It's just,
Again, when is Rio going to find his own boyfriend? Golly.
He does. He needs to find his own boyfriends, yeah.
No, this is what I was talking about off air. I honestly think Rio is upset with Jem and Jerica because he's secretly just looking for a beard.
Wow. But yeah, that was it. Yeah. That's pretty much all of mine. It's just the on and off again. And calling somebody out, and yes, maybe Synergy was predicting something, but at the same time, yeah, but it's not quite like that. It's not so black and white when you look at Rio and how he just can't decide between the two of them. And he's always off, saving basically the same person, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
He just be honest with himself. Oh.
Nicole, misfit moments?
We already talked about it. Kimber being Taylor Swift. I have it down here. I'm like, Kimber in love again? I think Taylor Swift took lessons from her. I put that in my notes. Okay, one thing I don't understand, and this is the only thing that, of course, Rio. I could go on with Rio for decades, but we'll put that water into the bridge. But the last thing that I want to talk about is earlier this season, Synergy's like, you cannot tell anyone. You can't even tell Rio. You can't. The only people that need to know are you and the holograms about the Jem persona, right? So she goes in and talks to Synergy, and Synergy's acting like, well, if you're going to do it, let's do it. And she didn't give her any kind of warning or anything, and she just about did it. And I'm just like, so is it okay now? Is it okay that is Synergy sick of the games too, or what?
She should be.
And she's sick of it, like, I'm so sick of you having to transform between Jem and Jerica, between this guy alone, I need a vacation and I'm a computer. That's how often you guys are going back and forth between each other, okay? That was my only other misfit moment that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay. Amy, what do you give Glitter and Gold?
I'm going to give this one, just because there's so much whiplash in it, I'm going to give it 2.5. I'm sorry. And the bad attitude from Jerica just was a totally complete turn off. I know. Sorry.
Nicole?
I'm giving it a 3.5. I still had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, there's some moments. If Rio was out of it, a lot better. I really like the music in it. Yeah. I based my ratings on Rio. That is sad. Okay.
It's kind of sad.
I know. Do I give you my Rio rating or my regular rating?
Well, this is the first one I've ever rated this low, and I kind of feel bad about it because I'm like, Glitter and Gold, it was supposed to be this cool thing, and it only turned into a short-lived gimmick.
I liked misfit moments. I really did. They were really good. When Pizzazz is freaking out on her record, I really thought it was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Awesome. I really like the misfit moments. It really saved it for me. What about you, Mike?
I am going to give it a 4. I still love it. There are certain things that just like the love triangle I'm kind of sick of, and Jerica's bratty attitude at the beginning. I can kind of take a full point off for those two things. But overall, I still really like the overall plot of the episode with the album contest kind of thing. So I'll give it a 4.
Controversial ratings is good, though, because it just shows that we're not all on the same page every single episode, right?
True.
There you go.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our Season 1 final thoughts, kind of a few lists and favorite characters, moments, all that good stuff. We'll be back after these ads.
Hey, I'm Gary.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Justin.
Join the four of us every week on the internet's #1 and longest-running G.I. Joe podcast, What's on Joe Mind?
It's Joe news, reviews, and interviews like you've never heard them before, delivered right to your MP3 player.
Our guests include Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Matt Yang King from G.I. Joe Renegades, Larry Hama, Robert Atkins, and John Barber from ID IDW Publishing, and many more from around the online Joe community.
Yeah, it's guys talking about Joe. Think of it as Joe Talk meets Sports Talk. And we make fun of Chuck.
Right, and we... Hey, again?
Come on, Chuck. We're just kidding, kinda.
Sometimes Chuck makes fun of himself.
Right, and we... Okay, seriously, this is just getting ridiculous now.
It's What's on Joe Mind every week on the Geekcast Radio Network, InsidePulse.com, Stitcher Smart Radio, and iTunes. Download and listen today.
I suppose I still can't say something about Transformers, can I?
Come
Good.
on, man.
No.
What about sports?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Kid? Yes. Shut up.
Beyond the Night is the GCRN's latest review podcast. We are covering everything in the Knight Rider television universe, from the classic 80s TV series to the 1991 reunion film, Team Knight Rider, and the 2008 relaunch series as well. So join TFG and Mike and Dion the Music Man as they go in depth and Beyond the Night only on Geekcast Radio Network. You can find Beyond the Night in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com.
Kid?
Yes, Michael.
Just keep driving.
So let's say you're looking for a podcast to your favorite 80s comic books, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, He-Man, etc. Where are you going to go to find us?
Welcome to Star Joe's Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Chuck. That's right, everybody. We're the Star Joes. We host a podcast called Star Joe's Podcast, where we talk about your favorite comic books, your favorite toys of all the 80s properties.
Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, Thundercats, Voltron, you name it, we cover it. If it's in the 80s, we'll cover it at some point.
Yes, so what you want to do to find us, you can go to iTunes, you can go to www.starjoes.com.
And remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
And now, back to Jem.
Alright, so we are back from that commercial break, and it is time to do the Season 1 recap for Jem and the Holograms here on Showtime Synergy. As I said before the break, we're going to talk about favorite characters, favorite moments, favorite episodes, and then we're going to get into the bad stuff. Least favorite characters, least favorite moments, and least favorite episodes. Now, and then after that we'll do overall thoughts. Now, I already know what one of the least favorite characters is going to be, and I hope to God we're not here for 2 hours bashing on that person. I mean, I don't even have to, look, I've made lists, Nicole's made lists, and Amy's made lists, but I already know. It's like, I mean, we're 8 episodes into this podcast, and I already know what one of them's going to be.
I think the listeners can probably guess on that one too. I think we've been talking about a certain someone quite a bit.
A little too much, yeah.
Hey, maybe I've changed my mind in the last hour.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Hint, I have not.
Nah. Yeah, nah, you haven't. Don't lie. All right.
Keep them guessing, just in case.
Favorite characters for me, I really like Synergy. I think it's a really cool thing, and she doesn't have a lot of lines. I mean, but when she does show, like one of my, I guess ties into favorite moments. One of the cool things about Synergy, at least in season 1, is when she does show up to help Jem and the Holograms. I always like that.
Stuff gets done. Stuff gets done when she shows up, man.
Oh yeah. The only character from the other group that I actually like, because I think she is a goody two-shoes at heart, is Stormer. She's not as mean as the other two at all. So I do like Stormer from the Misfits. I also like Lindsay Pierce. I don't know. Maybe it's a Susan Blue fetish for me or something, because I just love it when she does voices for characters, because her voice is, even in her regular, speaking voice, it's just amazing. Even though I have huge problems with Eric, he does have his moments in the first season, so I kind of cheated and listed him in both categories of characters, favorite characters and least favorite. I mean, because there was that one episode where he did try to save them all, so there was that.
He has some redeeming qualities, He's supposed to be the antagonist, so you can still love your antagonists because they, even if they're really bad. I mean, Megatron. Look at Megatron. Look at the Decepticons as a cause. I mean, come on, man. People have loved the Decepticons. I mean, technically, if you really knew. If you really knew a guy that was like Megatron, that was killing people left and right, just shooting them just because.
And you would want to be on his side.
Would you really want to be friends with that guy?
Yes, because then he wouldn't kill you.
In real life? Would you be friends with a zombie in real life?
Probably.
Oh, no. Hell no.
It worked for Shaun of the Dead. He ended up.
Maybe it could just be like, The Walking Dead, the lady with the swords, and just like cut their mouths off, and they can't eat you. Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like Ben Affleck right now in Chasing Amy. Those are fictional characters.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's okay to love your antagonists. Yeah.
I do like Jem/Jerica. She does have some frustrating moments, and I do think she does lead Rio on a little bit too much. But overall, I do like her. The holograms themselves, I don't like or dislike them. I'm trying to think if
Aja and Shayna really haven't had their moments yet.
They kind of have had a little bit. I mean, Shayna did do the whole sewing thing, and Aja, she's still terrible driver, but a really awesome exercise person.
And I think honestly, for me, the character that steals the entire show, even though he's not in it as much as he should be, is Tech Rat.
That's I agree with you.
How can you not love Tech Rat?
He's also an antagonist as well, so it's good. Yeah, everybody. I like Tech Rat too. Tech Rat.
All right, Amy, list off your favorite characters.
Okay, so I had a hard time picking because I thought not just one stands out, because I pretty much tend to like all of them. Like, I mean, you've listed off quite a few as well, and I have to agree with a lot of the stuff that you said too, because nothing really stands out for me, but I like what we're seeing for the most part. Like, everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, and I'm liking, for the most part, pretty much everything that I'm seeing, at least in the characters. And sure, I want to have more about the background of certain characters, and how I'd like to have the background of some of the misfits and some of the holograms and stuff like that, which we are going to get, which we have in episodes to come.
Yes.
Because since we've all seen it, so we kind of know.
Well, you two have seen it. I have not seen it in 30 years, so I'm watching this for the first time.
Good. That's fantastic. I went ahead and watched it over the summer, just to kind of, before we started recording, just as kind of a recap, just to make sure that I kind of knew what we were getting into. So, nothing really stands out for me favorite characters wise. I did put on there that I did like Eric Raymond as an antagonist, but I really liked a lot of the reoccurring characters too. Like, where our opinion of Ashley has started to improve, although Bonnie is a little shaky still.
Yeah, very. She's not just a little, very shaky.
Luckily, the whole story does not revolve around her the whole time. I'm enjoying Synergy as well. I wish we had more of her.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much me. That's favorite characters for me. Yeah.
Okay. All you people that are waiting for the Misfit love, here it comes.
I do love all my misfits. I do. Of course, we all know that I love Roxy. I don't know.
Yes.
She's crazy, and we love her for it.
And she pretty much put pizzazz in her place in the last episode.
She did. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll give her that. That was awesome.
Pizzazz is up there. She has some of the best one-liners. I love that woman. Yeah, she's
eyes.
She's not.
I don't have a conscience.
She's not the brightest crayon in the box, but my gosh, I love her.
She's pretty bright haired, colored,
Yeah, she's got to make up for it. But that being said, I do love her father. Harvey is awesome when he puts her in her place. Of course, Daddy. Yeah, look, I was surprised that all of us are putting Eric Raymond in our favorite character because he's such a douchebag, but he makes the show great. And of course, Tech Rat. He's like probably my number one. Anytime that he's on, I'm like, okay, something awesome is gonna come out of this.
You know he's gonna have a line where something's gonna he's gonna go. It's like, and then you almost kind of feel bad for him. It's like, why do you ever put up with these guys? You know, like if you give any of the Misfits anything, it's gonna end in tears, and it usually does.
Yeah, well, I think Eric is paying him really, really, really well.
He must.
So
with whatever money he has left.
Yeah, I agree with you. The holograms, I don't love them or hate them. You know, they're there and they help move the story along. But definitely the Misfits bring the story to action. So of course I'm gonna love the Misfits. So those are my favorites.
And I think the reason why we all put Eric in our favorites, because it's not just because you can like an antagonist, it's because sometimes he's not the antagonist, because he goes out of his way to try to do these dirty deeds to try to get the Misfits ahead in their career, and then they go back and run him the hell over. We could sit here and I could have a top 20 countdown of the 20 most, moments where Pizzazz has ruined everything for the Misfits from what Eric has tried to set up.
Yep.
I mean, it's just inconceivable.
I know, but there wouldn't be a story if it wasn't for her.
True.
Sure there would.
What, Stormer's not going to cause mischief?
No, she'll join the crowd.
All right, favorite moments. I have a lot from the first season, but I only wrote 2 down. I know you guys don't really like Glitter and Gold, but I really like the whole contest idea from that episode, how they did the album sale contest, and that Eric actually couldn't rig the contest.
Well, he tried, but
it
kind of fell back on him.
He couldn't actually rig the contest like how you would normally rig it. You know what I mean? I did like the filming in the Starbright episodes, and the fact that Jem doesn't need a stunt double. I did kind of like that. I will say about this series, the writing is really good. I think it's going to get better. There are certain things in the writing for season 1 that are just kind of iffy, and I think it's more so when Christy Marks isn't writing the episodes, when some of the other writers are on there. Last Resorts, I'll give a pass, since that was more of a one-off episode than anything else. But the writing is really good for the most part. It's probably some of the best writing in an 80s cartoon.
Oh, I have to agree with that. Absolutely.
Compared to some of the other ones. And they are on a trajectory where this might be the only 80s cartoon that actually deals with continuity, honestly. I mean, as far as we start off in the beginning, we set up the story, how, Emmett Benton passed away, and all that, and we continue on from there, and it's each episode is just a back and forth between the Holograms and the Misfits, trying to figure out who's going to be on top of the record labels, and just absolutely love the writing. And honestly, anytime Pizzazz gets in trouble or something she does gets backfired on her, it's so refreshing. So refreshing. I will say the other thing now that I'm thinking about, when Stormer dressed up to help Ashley, I did really dig that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. That's one of my moments too. Stormer's she's a good person in a wrong crowd.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
All right. What about you, Amy? Favorite moments?
This is going to be kind of sort of an odd thing, but I kind of like it when the characters say something that's like really obvious and true, that points out something that's incredibly true, like the last episode where Pizzazz says she doesn't have a conscience, or the thing about the dogs. The one-liners are just so incredible. I'm all about the one-liners. So if even almost every episode, if there's a one-liner that just really grabs me, then that's going to be my moment. Usually, it's going to swing around that. Little Miss Pink Hair and the sing-alongs. I mean, it was just
that's on my list too. That's one of the best lines ever. I love it.
The one-liners. I mean, my favorite moments will always kind of rotate around that. Is where the fun moment was, where they said something that was just hilarious. So. And that's I don't have a long list. I don't have like a list. I didn't go through every little episode and write every single down. I probably will do better next time now that I know what we're doing. But yes, that was a good that was a really great moment. That's usually what my moments are going to be. Is that so? Yeah, that's me.
Nicole.
You guys pretty much said that the two that I mostly had. When Stormer helped Ashley, I really love that. Stormer, she's got such a big heart. I love the girl. I really do. And of course, Little Miss Pink Hair, the sing-alongs, is one of the best lines. I love it. Like Amy said, the one-liners, oh my gosh, they're so much fun. And you know what? If it's a good one-liner, it's going to up my score. It really does. And one of my favorite moments is anything that has to deal with their fashion. I'm not a fashionista whatsoever, but when there's something that has to do with their clothing, I usually find it intriguing. Just like this last episode with suits with lasers. Hello.
I don't know why they shouldn't have kept those, because they should have.
I know. And then when
Bring those back, dang it.
Yeah, when they dyed Shayna's designs black, I'm like, that's awesome. They look great. Yeah, it's like one of those silly moments. And I did. We'll get to the favorite episodes, but whenever they have to team up and actually work together, or like the moment when Eric stepped in and tried to save them, it's those little moments you're just like, okay, this could be real, somewhat. Not everyone has a wrecking ball that they could go play with, but.
Well, and the good thing is to know is, yeah, that's true. Wrecking ball.
That's still even relevant these days.
I was talking about Eric Raymond and his wrecking ball. I don't.
Oh no, I was. Two completely different wavelengths.
It's okay. No, it's because it's good. Even the antagonists at some point, they're still human beings. They won't go. They don't want them dead. They just want to make them suffer. That's all. Yeah.
All right. Favorite episodes. I think we all have the opening 5-parter on our list.
It's good. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a cartoon show advertise it and do it and air it the way they did. Because I was shocked when I went. I mean, you can hear it in episode 1 of the show when we found out that they started on one date and then they re-aired that first episode for the next 2 weekends and then put the new one on the third weekend, and it's like, I don't think I've ever seen a cartoon series do. I mean, I see cartoons doing reruns all the time, but I don't see them doing like this Sunday is all new, and then 2 weeks you're gonna get repeats, and then I don't think I've ever seen a cartoon series do that. So I absolutely love that. The 5-parter was, so great. The writing was wonderful. The setup for all of the characters are great. I do wish that we would have gotten a little bit more. I mean, the Misfits are just there. I mean, I know we're going to get their origins coming up, but it's like, other than Eric saying, these are the Misfits, it's like, that's all we get. Their names and the name of the band. That's all we get in the opening. But I really do like it. I love how they cliffhangered each one. It just makes you want to watch them all in a row without stopping.
Most of the time, they had the really good cutoff points for the commercial breaks too.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do like the Starbright 3-parter because it's interesting seeing how Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits are going to act on a movie set, and I love that Eric got his in the end with all the contractors and everything else. I thought that was so cool. The Jem Jam, just because it reminds me of the USA for Africa, We Are the World, that kind of thing. I thought that was awesome. And, you know, as I've already talked about in this episode, I do love Glitter and Gold. There are a few others that I haven't listed, but those are pretty much my favorites. What about you, Amy?
And it's interesting that, you know, you say the 5-parter and that they don't give a lot of character building, because usually they do, but like...
Well, not for the Misfits, they didn't.
True. But the thing is that, you know, I think what really hooks anybody into the show is the fact that you've got the drama and the cliffhangers, and even some of the conflicts are, I mean, because it's a conflict between two different people, two different groups. And so potentially, because there's a lot of characters, they have to balance so many characters. You know, they haven't really built a lot, but they have been focusing mostly on the conflicts between the two. And I think that's what kept me wanting to watch it, as a young child, you know, watching this as long as I did. And then by time the first season wrapped up, then I wanted to know more about them. I wanted to know, well, what happened to, you know, Jerrica and Kimber's mom? What happened to, you know, some of this stuff? And which then, of course, some of those answers started coming in the second season. And I got those right when I was asking those questions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like I got hooked by what they did with the first season, how they, you know, built things up and how they had the cliffhangers and, you know, how you got to know the characters just through their actions, what they were doing like right now. And then when I started asking the questions, hey, I wonder about this. Hey, I wonder about that. Now that I like the character, tell me more about them. And then they did that in the second season. And I got that payoff even as a kid. And that kept me wanting to watch. So I think that they did a really smart job doing that. Some of the ones that stand out for me, in addition to the first episode for sure, I really liked The Princess and the Singer, and I liked Island of Deception. I rated both of those episodes pretty high. I went back and kind of looked at what I had rated and everything. Okay, yeah, awesome. I seem to have liked those ones, so they must have done some really good things that were great. And I think we remember having some really good one-liners and some of that. So, yeah, good stuff. Mm. And I believe Princess and the Singer is the one where Raymond does like warn everybody so that nobody dies.
Yep, that's true. Yep. So they don't go bloating up.
Nope. Yep. Nobody died. Everybody got saved, and it was all because of Eric. But yeah, I'd say those are the two that kind of stand out for me.
What about you, Nicole?
Well, my absolute favorite was Island of Deception. I thought it was great how they came together, and you still have that question whether Stormer knows the secret of Jem / Jerrica. She's just being cool and not saying, you know. I love how seeing these two groups having to come together and work things out. I'm a sucker for that kind of story. My other favorite was In Stitches, mostly because Rio wasn't in it. No, I really liked the contest that they had and everything, and there was just there was a lot of adventure, and that's one that I always remembered when I was younger. And for my third in the top, I would say, oh crap, where did I just lost my notes. Oh no! Battle of Bands. Yeah, I really thought that was fun too.
Battle of the Bands. Cool.
Awesome. Now let's get to the bitchin'. Least favorite characters.
I'm glad that you put the least favorite characters first, because we can get that out of the way right away.
Yep. For me, pretty much most of the time, because one screws up, one should be in jail for murder one, and the other... my four of my least favorite characters, Pizzazz and Roxy, as well as Zipper, and most of the time Eric. I'll give them this. I think from the midpoint of season 1 to the end, we didn't see Zipper a lot.
Well, he's
We
in
saw
jail.
more of Tech Rat.
Remember?
That's true.
He
That's
got
true.
put in jail in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's why he's been kind of indisposed.
Which is good. I'm also not a fan of Ashley or Bonnie. I wish that they would do more with the other Starlight girls, and they started to do that with Chrissy. But I wish like Deirdre would have a storyline.
She ran away.
Yeah, well, she had one storyline. I want her to have more.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
And the other two followed, and the other two had a hand in things too. So
Yeah.
kind of stole a little bit of her thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Amy?
Yeah. Least favorite character, Rio, is absolutely on my top list. I will let Nicole talk more about that. But I honestly, there's just so much to love. I know that, sometimes I've rated a few things low, and I pick at a lot of stuff that goes on in the show. But for the most part, I really do enjoy watching the show, and I really do enjoy most of the characters. I wouldn't say like, oh, this is my favorite character. That, I'm more, I like how the whole thing is working together as a whole. I like when we have the subplots with the Starlight girls, because they are kind of a little bit important too, and we learn more about that in season 2. Just more things just coming out and getting to know like how this little world of Jem and the Holograms functions. And so Rio's probably the one where it's like I was thinking about this and just going, why is it that Rio's on that list? And I'm like, well, most of it has to do with the fact that he's the center of that conflict. The one thing that came out of everything watching Jem and the Holograms when I was a kid is I wanted him to find out who Jem was. I never got that. I just wanted, in the end, to have that satisfaction of he knows, and whether or not his reaction would be, okay, I can see I'm maybe a little bit upset, but I'm all right with it. But I never got to see that. And because of that, because I never had that resolved, I've just got this about him because I want him to know. So yeah, it's just, maybe it's a little kid thing, but yeah, that's why he's on that list, is because I never got to see that resolution.
All right, Nicole, take it away.
Really, Rio's the only. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's 2 people on my list. But Rio's the only one that really should. He needs to leave. Oh my gosh, he's such a whiny little bitch.
He needs to leave.
He just needs to pack up his bag, say, I'm done with your crap. I'm gonna go find myself and maybe a boyfriend. And I'm gonna go live on a tropical island where we just sip Mai Tais.
Angus.
Yeah. I mean, there's like not one moment where I could say I enjoyed Rio in this whole season. I either he's whining,
or he's saving
yelling,
somebody.
Yeah, or he is confused on which woman he wants to be with.
And the same damn woman.
That's what I'm saying.
In the same episode sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I said, I honestly cannot think of a moment where I actually like Rio, and it just drives me up the wall. It's just like, okay, really, go away, go now, go get your haircut.
The best part of Rio is the fact that there is a woman in love with him. That's pretty much it. That's his redeeming quality.
I just can't stand. Oh, I mean, just even when like certain episodes they invite him to go, like this last one, they invite him, hey, let's play volleyball. Yeah,
I'm too busy. I can't do that. Moan.
Yeah. So, and the only other customer, listen to me. The only character that is starting to get on my nerves is Kimber falling in love every episode.
Yeah.
She's because I remember when I was younger.
Decide on one.
Yeah, when I was younger, I remember her loving Kimber. I really did, and now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, she's one of those girls. and it's starting to get on my nerves a bit. So she's not up there with Rio, but she's climbing that ladder. She just needs to decide on the guy, concentrate on writing her songs, and just be the cool redhead she is. Okay. So yeah, Rio's the only one I really have a problem with.
Wow.
Mhm.
All right. Least favorite moments for me. Anytime Roxy tried to do anything, because
Why
she
do you hate
always
Roxy so much, man?
because she always does when she like okay, perfect example is the episode where in she's up in some staging area. And she looks out, she sees Jerica. If she would have waited 2 more seconds, she could have found out the secret. But she just passes it off like, oh, it's just Jerica. She ain't nothing, whatever.
Well,
it's
she
like,
is
seriously?
her.
No, it's still. Anytime Pizzazz attempted to get her way by doing it herself and she just ruins Eric's plans, like, it's so frustrating. I really cannot wait until they put Jeddah in the show, because at least it'll be a refreshing change.
Jed is the one character that kind of gets on my nerves too.
I
She's the one
love
misfit of
Jeddah.
I think Jeddah will be a refreshing change compared to Pizzazz.
And like I said,
it,
it's been a while since I watched it. I just remember Jeddah being the one that's like, don't know about her.
and the final thing, by the end of the first season, I am so sick of the damn love triangle, which it really isn't a love triangle.
It isn't.
Oh, so sick of it.
Yep.
What about you, Amy?
Yeah, that's we've already said pretty much what mine is got to be the flipping between Rio and Jem Jerica. Who do you really love? Who's it going to be? Because, like I said, sometimes it's even in the same episode where he's with Jerica kissing on her, but then he's running to Gemma's running to him or whatever, and he's getting his cuddles in there too. So it's like, dude. I know it's the same person, but it's just like he needs to know. Stop playing around. I mean, think of how much fun they would have had if they could just share notes at the end of the day. Yeah, and the whole, the drama that could be caused with people coming up to Jem or coming up to Rio and just saying, "You're a cheater," and he's like, "I'm not cheating," and then going to Jem or Jerica and say, he's cheating on you with the other woman and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, no, it's not like that. that would create a lot of conflict for them, to be honest, because then they would always be having to turn left and right and say, no, he's not a cheater. Just trust me. I know. Nobody else would know, but they would, and they could just have a laugh at the end of the day,
I swear to God. Hasbro should sue Disney.
Oh, for Hannah Montana?
Okay, sure. It's not holograms, it's a wig. But they pulled the same... Okay, what we are wanting Rio to find out the secret. And Amy just said, he would have to go back and forth, and he's cheating. This is exactly, and I'm sad to admit this, I did watch the 4th season of that Disney show. They did this exact same thing. After she revealed the secret to the world, right before then, her boyfriend was like, oh, well, no, I'm not cheating on you with her. It's like, Hasbro should really sue Disney. All right, Nicole, least favorite moments?
I agree with you guys. That whole love triangle, it's just, it's to the point where it's like used toilet paper. You just don't want to go there.
Used toilet paper.
You can smell it coming, but you just don't want to get near it. Okay?
Oh, God. Wow.
Wow.
And it's just like, and another thing, I really feel bad that Aja really hasn't had any of her moments. She read 2 lines in a Chinese newspaper or magazine. That was it. Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever, And this last episode, where Kimber made a date with 2 guys, being the little. Oh no, we won't go there. Okay, we already said earlier today.
So basically, what you're saying is that
Dating sucks.
okay, there is that.
Especially when
but-
you double date on the same at the same time.
Oh wow. Yeah. So basically, what Nicole is saying is that Kimber and Rio are meant for each other.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that they never got together. They should have.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, really.
All right, Amy. Overall thoughts on the first season?
Overall thoughts. Like I said, I'm still watching and I'm really enjoying it. When I was a kid, I always go back to that as well. I was enthusiastic to continue watching, even after Glitter and Gold, which I was not a fan of. Sorry, I know that you were, but
I mean, I just like the concept of how they had the contest. Honestly, the rest of the episode, whatever.
Yeah.
What would you rate the first season, 0 to 5 stars?
I would definitely go with a 4. I'd say that it's enough to keep me going and enough to keep me happy. For the most part, I mean, like even there were some weaker episodes, but even as a whole, I look at each individual episode and there was always at least one or two things that were incredibly entertaining and still redeemable, even though there might have been like a little plot hole or something like that. So even the weakest ones were still quite entertaining. Still had lots of fun little moments in there that I really liked. So I'm going to definitely rate, I guess, the first season as a 4.
All right, Nicole, final thoughts?
I honestly thought it was very well done. Like you said at the beginning, it's nice to see a time sequence. Except for this last one where they kind of jumped, like, I don't know how long, a year or two. That's the only time it's just like, oh, okay. Because, and each, well, pretty much like the episode that follows pretty much goes with the one before. Like some kind of incident maybe carries over to the next one. I really enjoy that. No, I think it was overall. There's a few episodes that I probably will never watch again. But just a couple. But overall, I really enjoyed it. Very well done.
What would you rate the first season?
I'm with Amy. A 4, for sure. Adventures in China, though. God, that one needs to be burned and never be replayed.
Oh boy,
That's like the one that I could say I probably never watch again because it was just, yeah.
And for me, I think we're all on the same page of 4. I think the two least favorite episodes I would have is Adventures in China and Intrigue at the Indy 500.
Oh, but that had some good moments.
It had some good moments, but it just, I don't know. It's one of those episodes where pizzazz and her stupidity like takes over. It really, really is. So, all right, folks, that's gonna do it for the first season of Jem and the Holograms. We are going to take one more quick break, and we'll come back to close the show after this.
And here's an encore for one of today's Gem Rock videos.
We are back. One last thing before I close the show out. Do you ladies have a favorite and least favorite song from season 1?
Oh.
You
You didn't put that in the list.
Yeah, so I haven't even considered. Yeah. Oh crap.
I did some digging and some adding up. There are 72 total tracks for season 1.
And you want us to pull it out at random? Really?
Okay.
You know, it's surprisingly enough, a lot of the Misfit songs have like a little bit of a jingle to them, like the title or something like that. Gimme a Gimmick or Surprise, Surprise. It's just like some of the stuff that they use it's got a little bit more jingle to it than the Jem songs do, because I do tend to have the Misfit songs running through my head just randomly at different times. So, I mean, that's not to say that I don't like the Jem songs, because I do. It's just that they've got the little jingles in there that, like, you know,
It's
those
'cause
little.
the Misfit songs are better. You see what I did?
According to you.
They are, though.
But that being said, there are quite a few of them that I'm like, that's kind of sour. I don't like it. They're not trying to, you know. Yeah.
For me, you know, it goes to where we were talking about. We were talking about this off air in season 2. Nicole, you said they do reuse some songs. When I heard "Gimme a Gimmick," I'm like, wait a second, isn't this just "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme"? Except they, instead of "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme," they added "Gimme a Gimmick" into it. It felt like it was the same thing. And let's face it, after last week's podcast, episode 7, we all had "Hot Tom in Hawaii" stuck in our heads.
Yeah, we're Misfits in Hawaii.
That's like the one Misfits song. Like...
The Misfits in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I will say,
it's funny.
There is one Jem and the Hologram song that I liked, and that was "She's Got the Power." When it's like synergy song.
Mm-hmm.
I really did like that one. That was probably the one that stood out to me.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on Showtime Synergy. There are also ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on this and all of the other episode posts. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. You can follow at geekcastradio for all the other network updates. I am at TFG1Mike. Amy, what is your Twitter?
Lady of Rec. You can find me on Twitter, Lady Rec. Lady of
Nicole.
I am Beatles Diva. Beatles like the band, not the bug, and I cannot be held responsible for anything I say after midnight. And what is
It's
it?
always
It's
after midnight.
It's always after midnight. I mean, it's
that's gonna be my catchphrase right there.
It's always after midnight.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Showtime Synergy and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reviewing the first 3 episodes from Jem and the Holograms Season 2, those being The Talent Search Parts 1 and 2 and The Scandal.
Scandalous.
Is that really a scandal, is
it?
Anytime Pizzazz and Roxy are involved, it is.
Well, Kimber should keep her stuff next to her, not lose it.
Oh, Lord. For now, I am M with...
A crazy lady.
Which one?
Crazy Lady 1 and Crazy Lady 2, just like Thing 1 and Thing 2. We'll have to fight over who's 1 and 2.
Oh, God.
Pinky in the brain.
I'm not sure now. Tune in next time and help us get truly outrageous with Showtime Synergy.
I told you I was going to start doing random things.